is now coming down. It looks like he will also be going inside the tunnel along with the other agencies. So we have the experts from Slovenia, Professor Arnold. We have the expert from Australia, Chris Cooper, who's also a consultant in the mining and the underground space. And we have the experts who are also being consulted from Germany, from Thailand. One of the major crucial operation was in Thailand when the several children were rescued. And now it's the final leg of this operation. And look at this, the line of the ambulances were totally lined up, are on standby. Immediately, right after the breakthrough, immediately once the evacuation starts from across the debris site, they all will immediately rush to the health center, as in how it is advised. Now you see the Professor Arnold is yet again entering the tunnel.
Family members of those 41 trapped workers present there. Family members, we believe, have already been called in. They've been told to bring some clothes of those workers and be on standby. Have families reached?
The tunnel side, because again, you see the narrow passage and the number of personals are in the evac operation. What I've been told, the family members were, because every state whose workers are trapped here, they have sent their nodal officers. UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, they have their nodal officers here. They are now with their family members. There are multiple places, multiple hotels and accommodations have been made. Immediately, as per the protocol and the SOP will be decided by health experts, they'll be taken to different health centers. And the family members will immediately be rushing to those shelters. Of course, they'll be meeting their loved ones who are trapped for nearly 17 days out of communication, totally incommunicado, except, this few words that they could probably hear from just across a 60-meter long pipe. This will be first such meeting. They have been waiting to celebrate Diwali. They have been waiting to celebrate Chhat, and this will be no less than a festive day for all of them. So that will be the first time when they meeting their family members. Again, I see the persons from army has also gathered here. So all the agencies, all this workforce will ensure smooth evacuation, smooth rescue operation, smooth access to health facility, and safely sending them to health facilities. Many of these workers, I believe the Jharkhand is planning to airlift them with the special arrangements. There will be special buses to different places. So these nodal officers will coordinate with the district authorities, state authorities for further their transportation from Uttarkashi to their respective states. State and center is closely monitoring. All precautions have been taken in the rescue operation, and all advisories have been issued for further their logistics right after the evacuation. Anything and everything that is required will be made available. Yes, another factor is the temperature. Inside the tunnel, the temperature is absolutely warm, but with the moment you are out of those debris, out of that narrow pipe, there will be, literally varying the temperature. Outside, it's so cold, and because of the rain now also, and we are close to December, the temperature has dipped up to 10 degrees, even less than 10 degrees. So they will be exposed to extremely cold, and exactly why the blanket and other warm clothes have been arranged by the administration itself. Once they come out, immediately they'll be layered with the blankets and essential warm clothes, and then immediately rushed into the ambulances, because they don't want to be exposed them or exhaust them further by walking out, meeting the family or speaking to anyone. The first priority is the safe evacuation, and then their health. So these are the two priorities have been set as per the the SOP by the administration, by the rescuers, by the entire agencies who are working here for last 17 days.
Well, 17 days is excruciating period, Ashutosh, for people to be stuck, anyone, a human to be stuck inside under debris in a spot where there's no sunlight, there's very limited oxygen, obviously no food, it's cold and hard conditions there. For them, the, freedom is something that they are possibly praying for every single living second. They're alive, they're doing all right as per communications with the rescue teams, but how far are they stable, mentally stable? Of course, they are anxious as they are uncertain on how soon the rescue teams will get them, but do we know of their mental stability and their conditions? Ashutosh, tell us more on how has the rescue teams ensured that they're not going to panic when they're being brought out? Of course, the first few days must have been difficult. After that, they got along when they established communication with the teams.
Absolutely, and the experts were called to assess their psychological condition. In fact, there was one drone and mechanism from Lucknow was also called yesterday to assess their psychological mental condition. And immediately when they were trapped, there was panic. But remember, they are the workers. They know what a tunnel is. They know the consequences of constructing a tunnel is, and they are very much aware about the possible threat. So they are very strong. Of course, they have been waiting to be evacuated, rescued, and every time they used to speak to their family. And when we used to speak to their family, they say, we have been asked that when this evacuation will take place, when they will be rescued. One and only question they have been asking, that when will we be rescued. They were getting food. That wasn't the issue. The issue was a matter of concern that how long this operation may take. And particularly when you hear that today by evening you'll be out, and then you hear some obstacle has literally halted the operation. But what is happening here, Nabila, I'll show you a glimpse of exactly how curious people are. They all have been waiting. This looks like entire city of Uttarkashi, Brahmakhal and the nearby areas. They all are here. From this rooftop to the national media, international media, people in a huge number have come here to see this final leg of this operation. Every place you see, the number of workforce, the laborers who are involved with the BRO to even cut down the mountains to make a passage for heavy machinery lifting to top of the mountain, to top of the hills for the vertical drilling. Even those laborers, along with the other workforce, all sitting right out there watching this last leg of operation. It's the day where they believe Mangal, as we say, Mangalwar ko Mangal hoga. This is the day finally it's going to happen. After achieving a breakthrough, a safe passage, a safety protocol is being followed. Remember on 17th, where debris literally fall towards the rescuers, there was another challenge to ensure safety of the rescuers first, because compromising their security, you cannot carry out a rescue operation. It literally took them from 17th to 21st of November to make a structure, a safe structure. Then solidification of the the suspended materials over the tunnel where the cavity was being formed. So after ensuring the safety protocol for the rescuers, only they started operation. If you see those images of CM Dhami, Evacuation, everyone speaking to the trap workers, you see a concrete structure on top of them. That kind of safety protocol, or you called a micro tunnel, was made inside, literally 200 meter inside, wherever there was a threat of suspended material falling and the debris falling in. So once they ensured and secured the rescuers, only then they started or they resumed this operation yet again. And of course, there have been hurdles, obstructions. The mega machine, if I could say you just one image of that auger machine, so-called American, literally a giant machine. There was standby machine also airlifted from Indore. And you see these blades, the rotate blades, these are called hero blades. And this is what installed at nearly 45 meters from the auger machine. And right after drilling, the moment it reached to the heavy size metals, it literally broke down. And that led to the massive disappointment for all the rescuers. And it looked like that all their, the success and the expectation at the last leg failed. And right after disappointment, immediately this team made out a plan B. A plan B was vertical drilling. And in fact, in 48 hours, they made really halfway mark through. The plan was to dig 86 meters and they made 44. More than halfway through. But now, since we are expecting a final breakthrough, in fact, the breakthrough has been achieved, but the idea is to send an evacuation pipe or the safety tube across the debris at certain safe distance inside the tunnel. A lot of things moving right outside. Everyone is on standby, and the moment they hear that pipe has reached, we will hear the personals entering the tube, reaching other side, crawling inside a 800 dia pipe, and to reach, to make it 60 meters for NDRF personnel. They are physically absolutely fit. They're trained to walk in those terrain. It may take barely few minutes for them to cross other side. And once they do, after examining the condition of the suspended material, after examining the situation of those workers, examining the physical condition, they will immediately communicate with the team other side, and then one after one using the wheeled, the wheel, a specialized wheel they made. In fact, these people, these NDRF personnel designed literally a stretcher with wheels to ensure smooth go through of these stretchers, because dragging inside a pipe will be extremely difficult, and when it comes to 60 meter of such drag. So they have to avoid friction, they have to make it smooth, and they exactly keeping the situation and the terrain in mind, they designed a stretcher with equipped with wheels. So if they have taken nearly 7 to 8 such wheels inside, and all these personnel will be sending, and there will be rope by two-way. One side they'll be pulling in, another side they'll be pulling out, and this is how the operation will take place. Now I see another ambulance is going inside. So the idea is that immediately, like in few seconds, few minutes of the consultation, they are out, they'll be sent in ambulances. Because they don't want them to be exposed with the temperature outside the tunnel, out of the front portal of this tunnel. It's extremely cold here. The weather is changing. There was rainfall this morning, and also expected on the higher altitudes. It could be even snowfall. And in that case, this will make extremely difficult, not for the rescuers, but of course for the workers. So everything is being considered. All machineries are here. Everything is just on standby. We are just waiting for the day and for the moment and for the news break that we have been waiting for last 17 days.
17 days and hopefully it's the end. It's been 2 good weeks for the rescue teams. They're trying to progress, but many challenges in that hilly terrain has acted as a real hurdle for them to reach those trapped workers much earlier. In fact, the last 24 hours has been raining, Ashutosh. We believe that the situation there in terms of weather conditions has been quite intense due to rains, and that hilly area there, it's cold and it's dangerous. And that's what Arnold Dix, one of those international experts, says, that one thing that this hilly terrain has taught me and us is to be humble. So that really shows that even the finest of expertise there found it very challenging to actually move forward with this evacuation process in a speedy manner.
You know, the experience comes with the over of years working, and not one. Globally, there have been several challenges where they had to take horizontal drilling or the vertical evacuation, and these people are expert. And the international agencies who are working in different nations and different situations, from Mexico to Chile to Thailand, there have been such massive and very challenging, extremely difficult evacuation in extremely difficult physical conditions. There have been extremely rainfall or flood or the waterlogging. But despite all these expertise, every time in every operation, you see a different magnitude of challenges. And as far as Silkyara tunnel is concerned, here the challenge was that there was no communication except one 4 inches dia pipe, and you barely could speak 3 to 4 words, and 60 meter that voice could be heard to the other side, and this was exactly doing by the same for the workers. So the communication was difficult. Then was challenged to ensure a communication line with these workers. That was done, and that took literally more than a week or nearly 10 days. After ensuring that, they started drilling. The plan for drilling was literally flailing on 17th November, and earlier there was a mild tremor on 17th, literally debris fall inside. Then there was another task to ensure a safety of the rescuers. And also imagine, do you see this structure, the terrain on the mountain? This is exactly how you have the passage and the roads. There have been all-weather road project. Because of this, you have a wider roads. But on the narrow lane, working in this extremely condition makes this operation extremely difficult, particularly for carrying out logistics support on this part of the tunnel site. So you have the narrow road, somewhere you have the landslide zone area, heavy machinery like literally bringing a drill, machines. So that was an uphill task for everyone. Air Force was roped in to prevent waste of time. So every logistics was being made available. So this is indeed what I see from start to end have been extremely challenging for all the agencies, be it the logistics, be it the operation, be it the dealing with the conditions and the threat that was inside the tunnel. But after all, the 17 days of the effort has gone well. Finally, we are close to the breakthrough. Once the safety pipe at certain distance reaches, we will have these workers coming out one after one. We will have these images.
Now the images, Ashutosh, we're receiving images of cheer as many bystanders there, and it could likely be family members of those trapped tunnel workers who have arrived at the spot, and they're cheering as this operation comes to a near close. We're still looking at a few meters away from the trapped workers. Rescuers have already begun venturing into those pipes so that they can first meet with those workers, check their vitalities, and then help them be rescued or evacuate them through stretchers as and when. And basically, it's going to be a systematic process. Ashutosh, do we know of how many members are going to be entering that pipe, meeting with those rescue workers, and then bringing them out? Who are those people who are going in?
Those who will be crossing the narrow tube will be the NDRF and SDRF personals, and essentially as per the plan that I heard from my sources was to send 6 people.
Please stay with us. I'm cutting across to Amit Bharadwaj speaking to a rescue team member.
साथ डॉक्टर योगेश हैं राइट्स वो संस्थान जो ओवरसी कर रही थी वर्टिकल ड्रिलिंग को डॉक्टर योगेश क्या बड़ी खबर इस वक्त बताइए
मूव करना है फिर मेरा ये निकल जाएगा वो तो ये यूज नहीं
हो चुका है और अंदर एनडीआरएफ वगैरह की सबकी टीम जा चुकी है रेस्क्यू के लिए। इसमें हो सकता है घंटा या आधा घंटा उससे समय ज़्यादा समय भी लग सकता है क्योंकि मेंटल कंडीशन फिजिकल कंडीशंस जो अंदर वर्कर्स हैं उनकी देखनी पड़ेगी पहले।
तो आप कह रहे हैं कि जो हॉरिजॉन्टल जो टनल बनाया जा रहा था उसमें ब्रेक थ्रू अचीव हो चुका है।
यस वी गॉट इन्फॉर्मेशन दैट इट्स अचीव्ड। यस और
एनडीआरएफ की पहली जो टोली है वो अंदर जा चुकी है
टोली।
अब क्या प्रोसेस होगा आपके हिसाब से?
हमारे हिसाब से ये होगा कि एनडीआरएफ की टीम एक और जो मेडिकल टीम है वो एक आदमी को देखेंगे, चेक करेंगे उनकी फिजिकल कंडीशंस क्या है, मेंटल कंडीशंस क्या है, उसके हिसाब से फिर और एक्चुअली क्या है 57 मीटर के पाइप से थ्रू निकालना है इन लोगों को, तो उस निकालने के में भी टाइम लगेगा। एक आदमी को इंडिविजुअल एनडीआरएफ की टीम अंदर जाएगी, एक आदमी को पुश करके लेके आएंगे थ्रू रोप या ट्रॉली सिस्टम से, जिससे भी उन्होंने अरेंजमेंट किया होगा उसके थ्रू लेके आएंगे।
तो जो टनल के अंदर एम्बुलेंस जा रहा है कहीं ना कहीं ये हम समझ सकते हैं कि जो इमीडिएट मेडिकल अटेंशन की जरूरत होगी उसको क्विकली यहाँ पे
यस क्विकली रेस्क्यू के लिए अगर कोई भी इश्यूज आते हैं किसी को भी, क्योंकि काफ़ी दिनों से 17 दिन से लगभग बंद हैं, तो अंदर की कंडीशन और बाहर के एनवायरमेंट कंडीशन में बॉडी का बिहेवियर में बहुत फर्क होता है।
एक सवाल, वर्टिकल ड्रिलिंग जो चल रही थी अब तो आधिकारिक रूप से रुक गई, वो
आधिकारिक रूप से नहीं, अनऑफिशियली वैसे हमें रात में ही बता दिया गया था कि इसको रोक दिया जाए। हम इसका जो वर्टिकल ड्रिलिंग है हॉरिजॉन्टल ड्रिफ्टिंग के लिए इसकी प्लानिंग वगैरह सब राइट्स की तरफ से थी, राइट्स ने लोकेशंस दी थी कैसे करते हैं। यस है टेक्निकल विंग है राइट्स का, जितने भी नए प्रोजेक्ट्स होते रेलवे के हाईवे।
ये वर्टिकल ड्रिलिंग क्यों रोकी गई थी? क्योंकि उसका असर पड़ सकता था।
यही डर था कि कहीं उसका कोई मूवमेंट हो, किसी भी तरह का वाइब्रेशन जनरेट हो और उसका इम्पैक्ट इस पे ना आए, टनल के जो रेस्क्यू टीम पे ना आए।
ठीक है, तो डॉक्टर योगेश सईद हमको बता रहे थे कि ब्रेक थ्रू अचीव हो गया है, गाड़ियां एम्बुलेंसेस को अंदर इसलिए भेजा गया है क्योंकि ब्रेक थ्रू अचीव हो गया है। जी
The doctors there as they're all set to venture into that pipe there, will reach those trapped workers, will be checking their condition and then be brought out. Just a few meters away for those rescue teams to reach those workers. It's really a moment of joy for the family members who are already waiting outside. We saw visuals of cheer of many of those families who've been waiting for 17 days, a good above 2 weeks that they've been waiting for this very day to meet and greet their loved ones. It hasn't happened as yet. Of course, we are keeping our cameras rolling and a close watch there at those rescue teams, the NDRF teams who are just about gearing up to enter that tunnel, check the vitalities of those trapped workers and then bring them out in stretchers. A Herculean task indeed that's now finally coming to fruition. 17 days and counting. We're hoping that today is the last. It will not extend beyond this. 5 p.m. is the latest, the time that's been given by those NDRF teams and the foreign experts as well, who believe by 5 p.m. latest, we would get to see the faces of some of those trapped workers, if not all. That's still great headway there. Ashutosh, who's joining us right from the spot there, he's at the epicenter. bringing us those details right from day one of this rescue mission. Ashutosh, those hilly areas, the mountains, the weather conditions, we know that landslides is a common occurrence in that region. So drilling in that landscape is a task and very meticulously done, which is what's really taken those rescue teams 17 days. A little harsh activity and we could see another round of collapse. And that was what exactly led to them carrying out this operation in a very measured way, so that there's not another collapse that could occur. Ashutosh, if you're with me.
Yes, Nabila, yes. Can you repeat the question?
Well, I did ask you about the challenges in that terrain. It's a very hilly landscape. We know that landslides are a common occurrence along that area. And drilling a little too harsh would lead to more threat of another round of collapse, because it's a massive tunnel. More debris could fall, and that was what led to initial days hurdles. Where they were trying to drill through in a speedy manner, and there was a lot more mud falling, really impacting their progress. Now, despite all that challenges, it's taken them now 17 days to finally complete this mission.
Well, the challenges started first from the logistics, and you rightly said, on the difficult terrain we have a narrow roads in the mountains at many places, and then landslide areas. So first the logistics on the giant machines reaching here was the task. So somehow when they started working on plan A, plan B, plan C, that was extremely difficult. Immediately, once every logistics was arranged here, mega challenge was to complete this operation inside the tunnel. Every moment they started drilling, first they started with the auger machine that was by the Jal board of the state government. The auger machine collapsed in less than 28 hours. Immediately there was another need of to get another auger machine which was airlifted by, so that literally halted operation for nearly 28 hours. The expert, the NHIDLC, coordinated with the Ministry of Transport and Highways, and Air Force was roped in immediately, was pressed in, and the Air Force airlifted the machine from Delhi, which was brought here on the site. But again, the logistic, the challenges to bring it here was immediately the auger machine started working on 17th. There was more muck falling inside, the debris started falling inside the tunnel, and there was literally a threat to the trapped workers, because the machine creates a vibration, and if there is any loose or fragile debris suspended on the tunnel, this is clearly a risk. And to avoid that, that literally took more than 90 hours to first ensure the safety, the solidification of the suspended material, then making a scape tunnel. Of course, what scape tunnel should have earlier made in the tunnel, this situation wouldn't have arisen. But there was no scape tunnel at that time. Finally, they thought to make a scape tunnel and then an alternative, a micro tunnel inside up to the working site, deep inside the 200 meters of the front portal that you are seeing in these images. But after doing all these things, there was vibration.
Well, we have Gaurav Sawant with me as well. Gaurav, as we see 2,000 of those workers who are right now pressed into action, and they're coming into near completion, hopefully a safe evacuation of these trapped workers.
This very clearly is India's might coming together. Every agency in the country put their heads and heart together, virtually put their soul in this mission to bring out 41 trapped workers inside that tunnel that's been constructed. And India Today's Ashutosh Mishra has been reporting this story from ground zero, from day one. He's been our man on the ground for the past 17 days and counting, bringing us this huge development. And Ashutosh, it's still fingers crossed. So the workers are still inside. That last pipe has been connected. How soon before the first worker is brought out, and how are they being brought out? Is a stretcher being sent in? Are the NDRF workers going in? How will this process actually take place now?
But you cannot risk the life of the rescuer and all these trapped workers. They will come to the debris.
As we try and re-establish that link with Ashutosh Mishra, our man on ground. but Lieutenant General Harpal Singh, former engineer-in-chief of the Indian Army, he's also on ground. So you have the Indian Army teams, you have the Border Roads Organization teams, you have the ONGC teams, you have NDRF teams, you have international experts who've been called in, and of course they've also sought divine intervention. There were prayers that were happening every day. Machines were being used, Nabila, and along with the machines, you also had the rat miners who were finally pressed into service. When machines failed, it's actually the victory, or God willing, it's the victory of human endeavor, Nabila, that ultimately will work, Nabila.
You know, the rat miners, rat hole miners are basically, their activity is basically banned. You can't mine anymore here. They're coal miners. So they're really using intricate small tools, Gaurav, to actually mine through and dig through that pile of debris there. And that's what's really given them that kind of headway in the last 24 hours. It's given them a big thrust. And the irony of it, that a 25-ton auger machine, which was flown down from abroad, chipped. It broke while drilling through that debris there. So it was ultimately conventional methods that they've resorted to that's given them this breakthrough.
The traditional mining methods, extremely dangerous, but this was a risk that had to be taken, a risk to save lives of 41 workers trapped for the past 17 days and counting. Their morale was kept high, food was provided to them, water, medicines, conversations happening constantly. You had their own officials, their family members, members from the Prime Minister's office, the Chief Minister, various other officials talking to them constantly, boosting their morale, medical teams talking to them. But this is also about the human spirit. It's also about resilience, the effort that is being made. But of course, that last mile still needs to be covered in terms of bringing them out, Nabila. Equally important at this stage. So the machine's gone in. Now the effort is to bring them out.
You know, Gaurav, what's really made us anxious is that for the last 4 days, they've been almost completing this mission, saying that we're almost done. Another few hours, by tonight, it's going to complete. But that terrain is so challenging. We're looking at an area where there's constant landslides, rains there, cold weather conditions, and it's just a hilly area where to take equipment itself has become a real challenge. Almost all the machinery was airdropped. So one can only imagine that the kind of the slow process with which this evacuation process has gone on only due to this challenging terrain. And kudos to the 5 public sector teams, the army and the international experts who are on ground doing a fabulous job in ensuring that this has been a safe process through and through.
I want to bring in Ashutosh into this conversation once again. And Ashutosh, you've been covering this operation from day one. So, you know, there were times there was hope, and there were times there was despair when the machines would pack up, when efforts would fail, when family members, their morale would go down, but the workers continued. So Ashutosh, one, we can see these 40+ ambulances lined up. What's happening right now? How long will this process take, Ashutosh?
Last leg of this operation in Gaurav. As we know, since the breakthrough has been made, another safe pipe need to be crossed the debris, and at least maintaining a distance of 3 to 4 meters from exactly the end of the debris. And this is essentially required to prevent those trapped workers during the evacuation from the suspended particles or the suspended heavy machinery, bolts or the iron rods which could be inside the tunnel. So once you have a 3 to 4 meter of a safe distance, immediately we have seen those NDRF workers with the special stretchers have taken, which is wheeled, and the ropes, the oxygen cylinders, LED strip lights, everything has been taken inside. So as we see on the front portals, all the ambulances are being sent one after one inside the tunnel. And what will they do is, once the NDRF persons go inside, they will first assess the situation, look at the physical condition, and then they'll take one after them on a wheelchair, and the other side, just toward the other side, at the front portal that is visible on the screen, the NDRF person will be pulling out using a rope the stretcher out. Once they cross the length of 57 to 60 meter of the extremely narrow and as narrow as 800 dia pipe, there will be doctors, team of experts, team of medical experts. They have taken special beds inside. So immediately after giving them some rest, there will be condition, there will be evaluation of the physical and psychological condition. And depending on that, there will be also, Gaurav, remember it's extremely cold here since this morning there was rain and extremely cold. So they could be potentially exposed to the physical condition of the extremely cold. They'll be given blanket. There are special warm clothes have been sent inside. Now you see one after one these ambulances, because the distance inside is nearly 200 meter where exactly the evacuation, the drilling was taking place. So at least the idea is to send 5 to 10 ambulances at a time inside. So this process of evacuation and then sending them to health facility can be expedited. In fact, special the police or the escort police have been made on standby outside, who will be escorting each ambulances to the health facilities. So they never stop on the way, because there are markets, there are villages on the way. So there will be a special green passage, a green corridor will be created for this, the fleet of the ambulances who will be taking these trapped workers. Now, after the evaluation, every state have sent their nodal officers, particularly the states, those who have their workers trapped inside the tunnel. They are coordinating with the state and district authorities. With their family members, they'll be reaching to the hospitals, and that will be, Gaurav, trust me, no less than a festival, no less than Diwali, when they will be meeting their family members inside the hospital. And then
so there was Dev Deepavali yesterday that was celebrated, Guru Purab yesterday, and it's almost blessings. And Ashutosh, you were telling us that prayers were being held even this morning, prayers virtually every day. So it's the human endeavor, and they were also constantly seeking divine intervention, especially when machines broke down. The foreign experts also said it may take several days, but fortunately, perhaps it's the rat miners and the army team in a way that who've proven to be lucky that this mission is finally virtually over, a mission that was seen as mission impossible.
Well, there was no lack in endeavor or the efforts by both national, international agencies, experts. Everyone tried their best. But every morning coming with a hope and then evening going with a disappointment. Several people say there was a temple during this construction and project of the tunnel that was demolished for this essential and very crucial project of all-weather road connectivity for Char Dham Yatra. But then immediately on the consultation, the authorities decided to reinstall the temple. And you see the temple was actually taken outside the tunnel from the front portal, and they reinstalled it. And since then, the divine intervention was expected by everyone, be the local priest or every individual, I could say, Gaurav, going before inside the tunnel. Everyone used to go offer prayer, and no less than, in fact, Professor Arnold Dick himself, the person, international expert of underground space station, who flew all the way from Slovenia via Dubai to India. Every day before going inside the tunnel, he used to offer prayer. So be it the General V.K. Singh, the Chief Minister, authorities of the colonels and brigadiers, and several top officials from BRO, the rank from NDRF, rank from Army, rank from GREF, State Police, everyone. So that was a divine intervention that was required. So since all machinery agencies working together, there was indeed, every day they used to offer prayer. And even today, yesterday you rightly said it was Dev Deepavali, and today another auspicious day being Mangal. Everyone saying, Aaj Mangal hai, Aaj Mangal ho ke rahega. And that's exactly why we are very
the latest
close
that's coming in is about those ambulances. Many ambulances that are in place. Ambulance with oxygen cylinders have entered the tunnel. Would you able to tell us how exactly that's happened? Oxygen cylinders in ambulances have now managed to slowly enter the tunnel, and that's the visual that we're seeing on our screens as well. How is this going to be aiding in the operation?
Nabila, as we have been speaking to the health officials, there is no possibility of such situation that there could be hypoxia or they will not be able to breathe properly. However, this is just a preventive measure. You have the 108 ambulances, and these are high-tech ambulances equipped with every essential that is required in a health facility. So these ambulances work as a primary health clinic until the time of the transportation or till the time of transferring one person to specific health facility. So oxygen cylinder is essential, that is required. In fact, in the tunnel, the micro tunnel now we say, or they say evacuation tube of the 800 dia pipe, once the NDRF or rescuers go inside, transporting them even on a wheelchair, on the stretcher, which will have a wheels equipped on it. It may take more than a minute. And inside a narrow tape, in fact, today also, I tried to pass through a narrow passage of a similar type to get a demonstration. It could lead to a claustrophobia, and there could be oxygen issues inside the difficult terrain. So they are also planning to make at least some arrangements of proper oxygen supply in the tunnel. Each worker, while being rescued and
Okay,
evacuated.
give me a moment, Ashutosh. I also want to bring into this conversation our colleague Mosmi Singh, joining us from Ground Zero. And Mosmi, you're the lucky charm. You got there, efforts were on for several days, and now hopefully the workers would be out any time now. You've been speaking to a number of rescue team workers. What are they telling you?
Gaurav, it seems that you've read my face. It can't be a more happier moment, covering so many disasters. A happy ending is what we always wait for while we are covering all the traumas that the victims are going through. And even as I stand at the entry point of the tunnel, it is an emotional moment for all the family members, for all the country men and women who've been waiting and praying for them. You can see the priest right there at the temple. But I'm getting you a breaking piece of news, Gaurav. We have with us one of the senior laborers who's been here since day and night, since the past 17 days. Palani Mukht is from Tamil Nadu, and he has something to tell us. Palani ji, आप क्या काम कर रहे थे यहाँ पे? खाना पहुँचा रहे थे? क्या काम था आपका पिछले 17 दिन?
खाना पहुँचाने के लिए वो 6 इंच का पाइप डाला हमने। उसका पहले एक किया था 33 मीटर गया, वो फेल हो गया। फिर उसका 55 मीटर का वो भी फेल हो गया। वो तीसरा बोर किया, उसका 52 मीटर में आर पार हो गया। आर पार होने के बाद अंदर का 41 आदमी है ना, उससे मेरी बात भी हुआ। उसका 3 इंच का पाइप था, उसमें खाना जा रहा था पहले।
क्या खाना जा रहा था?
उसमें बिस्किट और क्या बोलते ये दाल चावल था। हम लोग पाइप था उसमें जा, उसका पहले बिस्किट बादाम वही जाता था
शुरू में। अच्छा, ये बताइए अभी क्या आपको अंदर से खबर आई है? आपके तमाम जो टीम के लोग हैं अंदर हैं, क्या बता रहे हैं? क्योंकि एम्बुलेंसेज अंदर जा रही हैं।
हाँ, 10 बंदा बाहर आ गया है। उनको 10 बंदा अंदर से बाहर निकल दिया।
अच्छा,
हमारा आदमी अंदर फोन आया उधर से, उसका मेडिकल चेकअप हो रहा है अंदर।
अच्छा,
वो एक करके निकल रहे, आ रहा बाहर आना शुरू हो गया।
नहीं, आप ये कह रहे हैं कि 10-15 मजदूर अंदर से बाहर आ गया है, उनका मेडिकल चेकअप हो रहा है। ये आपके साथी जो अंदर हैं, उनने फोन किया?
फोन किया।
एक बार कॉल करेंगे उनको, अभी कॉल कर सकते हैं?
फोन नहीं उठा रहा, बहुत भीड़ अंदर।
If what we've heard you is right,
और एक करके बाहर आ रहा है। अब उसका मेडिकल चेकअप करके उनको एक करके बाहर निकलेगा।
Right, Nabila, I'll repeat it. Panani
It's already
Mukht's,
out.
Teammates are inside. He's got a phone call. He's saying that 10-15 laborers have been rescued. They are being, the medical checkup is happening inside. That actually verifies why 3-4 ambulances have gone inside. They've gone inside, and he says that the medical checkup is happening, though no official confirmation on that. But yet, an eyewitness who's there inside, one of his teammates confirming that.
massive. It's huge development if one of the eyewitnesses they're claiming, Gaurav, that the workers are already out. 10 to 15 workers who are trapped are now out.
Okay.
Those are the images coming in, latest images of the rescue mission. Gaurav, those cameras, they're rolling as we keep a hawkeye.
Huge. Big story we are breaking here on India Today and getting you these images first on India Today. You're looking at those images of workers inside the pipe being brought out. The rescue efforts are currently underway, and you're looking at the workers being brought out of that tunnel. 17 days trapped inside a tunnel, about 2 kilometers long, half a kilometer wide, and now the workers are finally on their way out. You can look at these images. Workers are being brought out of that tunnel. Mosmi, describe to us the atmosphere there. We are also connecting with Ashutosh. Okay, Ashutosh joins us now. Ashutosh, okay, we are getting those images of the big thumbs up, the sign of a thumbs up. Workers who are inside the tunnel are being brought out. Doctors are also there on standby. Medical examination is happening. This is the first image that you see on India Today.
Right, actually that video there showing that very camera there that showed the pipe inside shows how evacuation, basically the debris is being cleared so that those workers are going to be brought out. But this image here of those rescue teams showing a big thumbs up there, showing that they have successfully ended this mission. There's information coming in and we've got to confirm this. We're waiting for our reporters to corroborate that big news that though at least 10 to 15 trapped workers are out. They're currently going through medical checks before they're taken to hospitals just to check their vitalities. But for now, we see that these are the 4 rescue team members who are showing a big thumbs up, suggesting that the rescue operation, the mission, 17 days on, is now finally has come to an end. Moshmi joining us for more. Moshmi, this is this one and only image that we are banking on to suggest that this has been a successful end to this rescue mission. Do we know how many workers are out?
Absolutely, that's actually a historic image that you're talking about, a very big turning point, and perhaps many more victory images to come. But clearly, you know, we just spoke to Palani Mukht. He's trying to connect with his fellow teammates who just informed him. He's one of the laborers who's been involved in the rescue mission, that 14 to 16 laborers have been ferried out. They are undergoing medical checkup. So any time from now, and even right now, Nabila, behind me you can see there are no ambulances that we can see. That means the ambulance have gone further in. Perhaps if the workers are out, then the checkups would be happening. And Palani Mukht confirms that he has spoken to his fellow teammates. So 15 to 16 16 laborers have been ferried out. And any moment from now, we'll see that drive to Chinyali Sor, which is 1 hour from now. That is their drive to life, to drive to happiness, drive to homecoming of sorts. They'd gone on Diwali day, lights out for them, they thought, but they'd never lost hope. From the 12th of November, it's been an arduous journey. The great Himalayan terrain testing their nerves, and they have withstood their ground, showing a lot of stealth, holding on, and that's what, you know, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Finally, we will be waiting for that official word, but all signals are green signals now. None of them are red, Nabila, and this is that big moment that the country has been waiting for. Several nodal agencies on a war footing, on the foothills of this mountain, trying to fight against death to save 41 lives. And what a historic moment it will be. The Prime Minister yesterday did say that, you know, everybody should pray for these workers. And बहुत बड़ा दिन भैया, आप लोग बहुत दिनों से लगे हुए थे, इधर आइए, बहुत दिनों से लगे हुए थे, अब आपके चेहरे पर खुशी आई है. आपको लगा था वो लोग बचेंगे?
वो तो कोई है, अब सब ठीक है, कोई टेंशन नहीं. उनका हमने पोरिंग करके उसका पाइप से बात किया, कैमरा भी डाला मैंने अंदर, कैमरा डाल के सबको पूरा देखा.
क्या बोला?
पाइप डाल के उसमें कैमरा डाल के अंदर का पूरा नाम पूछा. इसका मालिक है ना, वो डीएम, उसने पूरा बात किया.
So very importantly, Nabila, actually that corroborates the kind of technical difficulties that were confronted with when the administration was trying to reach to these workers, you know, with the auger machine collapsing on Friday and all the parts, you know, stuck. Then the dismantling and pulling out of the damaged parts started, and it was actually a reverse countdown of sorts. And then the vertical drilling with 100 hours timeline, if that were to be, it would have been 30th of November. But God and destiny and of course willpower of the Indian spirit had it otherwise. Also, you know, added was the foreign expertise that really added weightage to the entire war footing effort. And now today you can see waiting with bated breath all across. You can see a lot of people from Uttarakhand, several dozens of media camera persons. Here you can see dozens of ambulances waiting, and of course the country waiting with bated breath for this moment where this will be a victory of life, a walk towards freedom from the darkness of this tunnel, from the darkness of death, from the darkness of struggle. It is indeed a moment to thank all those people who put in their efforts, the real heroes behind the entire mammoth effort on a war footing.
You know, Maushami and Gaurav, what I observed for the last 17 days and what the nation has observed is on how the stellar rescue teams have managed to come up with multiple strategies to complete this operation successfully. And each time, because of the challenges that were posed, they tried to fine-tune it and match to the actually the challenges and push through those challenges aside on a war footing. Not a minute and a moment that we saw any of those rescue teams resting.
Those live images that we see on our television screen, that does appear to be Lieutenant General Harpal Singh. He's former Engineer-in-Chief of the Indian Army. He was Director General of Border Roads, someone who spent a better part of his life constructing roads and tunnels and highways in very difficult hilly terrain. Also the Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister there on ground zero. Till yesterday you also had Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Pushkar Singh Dhami. The effort that was being made, the message that was going down to all the workers was that the entire nation is with you, and you're looking at those images.
Army Chief, they're speaking with the rescue workers' family members. In fact, the rescue workers' families have been called in to come and arrive with the clothes of the trapped workers, so that the moment
they've been wearing
सभी फैमिली मेंबर वहाँ पे रहें, जब वो बाहर आए उनकी स्थिति देखें, ये बहुत अच्छी बात होगी और उम्मीद तो यही है।
पहली बात क्या कहेंगे?
ये तो जब वहाँ पे पहुँचेंगे तभी कुछ कह सकते हैं क्या मना स्थिति होगी उस समय।
सही, देखिए जयमल सिंह है हमारे साथ, जयमल सिंह नेगी। गबर सिंह 41 मजदूरों में से एक जिसने हिम्मत बांधी रखी है अंदर, और बाकी लोग जो टूट रहे थे, मनोबल टूट रहा था, मनोस्थिति टूट रही थी, तो योगा कराया, उनको गेम्स में बिजी रखा। उस गबर सिंह के भाई जयमल सिंह नेगी इस वक्त आज तक से एक्सक्लूसिव बातचीत कर रहे हैं। पहली प्रतिक्रिया, गबर 41 मजदूर सब बाहर आने वाले हैं।
बिल्कुल बाहर आने वाले हैं और बस अब इंतजार की घड़ियां जो है अब अंत की तरफ बढ़ रही हैं। प्रकृति भी बहुत प्रसन्न है और तमाम पे
लग रहा है वो पहली झलक देखना, ये इंतजार जो है मुश्किल लग रहा है अपने आप?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बहुत मुश्किल लग रहा है। बस व्यग्र है हमारा मन बहुत व्यग्र।
17 दिन तक आप यहीं बने रहे। मैं आपसे पिछले 10 दिन से रोज बात करता था, आप परेशान दिखते थे, कभी आपका मोराल बढ़ता था, कभी डाउन होता था। अभी मन में क्या महसूस हो रहा है?
नहीं, अब तो वो सब भूल करके अब तो खुशी का वक्त है। वो सबको सोचना अभी इस समय बहुत उचित प्रतीत नहीं होता है कि उन पलों को याद किया जाए।
घर वालों को बताया, खबर दे दी?
अब खबर दे दी है मैंने।
क्या किया?
मैंने उनको कह दिया कि बहुत जल्दी हम मिलने वाले, फिर वीडियो कॉलिंग साहब से बात कराते हैं। तो वो लोग
भावुक हैं वो?
बिल्कुल भावुक, निश्चित रूप से। अब मिलन के लिए भावुक हैं, पहले बिगड़े के लिए भावुक थे, निश्चित रूप से।
एक आखिरी सवाल, जिस तरह से ये पूरा ऑपरेशन चला, कई बार सवाल उठा कि देरी हो रही है, उम्मीद बनी, उम्मीद टूटी, अब जब अंततः निकलने वाले हैं सब, क्या महसूस हो रहा है जो रेस्क्यू टीम है उसके लिए?
अब देखिए, अब अभी बहुत जल्दी होगा अब इस विषय में बात करना। इसमें खुशी का वक्त है तो खुशी में ही मनानी चाहिए।
जयमल सिंह नेगी हमसे बातचीत कर रहे थे और एक्सक्लूसिव तस्वीरें इस वक्त हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। मुख्यमंत्री पुष्कर सिंह धामी सहित मुख्यमंत्री पुष्कर सिंह धामी
All right. Well, that's one of the family members there who's spoken to India today. And Gaurav, I should tell you that as much as the rescue operations went on in a very phased out manner just to ensure that keeping in light with the challenges there and that loose soil, at the same time, these workers who are trapped were given board games. They were asked to do yoga. Landline connection was established. Speaking with the BSNL board, they also established a landline so they could speak with their family members. So in every way, they've kept the humor of those trapped workers in good light.
So the effort was to keep their morale high at all times, because if one person's morale goes down, then everybody's morale goes down. It's almost very contagious, and if one person keeps his morale high, it keeps everyone's morale up, and that is why leadership qualities play a very important role. I was speaking to some of the rescue team workers who were constantly in touch with the trapped workers inside, and they said that whether it was Gabbar Singh or a couple of others, they kept the morale of everyone high. As you very rightly pointed out, yoga played a very crucial role. Mosmi Singh with us from Ground Zero, Ashutosh Mishra, and this was a very major story for us here at India Today. Every day we did these reports because we wanted the families and the nation to know the effort that was being made. And Mosmi, these workers also knew that the entire nation is watching them and wants to know how quickly they'd be brought out.
Well, you know, we're going to try and patch Mosmi. In the meanwhile, Gaurav, what we see here is that the established connection and communication with those workers maybe 3 to 4 days after they were trapped. So it's kudos to the workers as well to keep themselves motivated and wait for actually rescue teams to establish contact with them. So that uncertainty that was looming all across in the initial phase led to the families also believing that there's no escape out of this. And that's why we must really praise and thank the rescue teams. Nearly 2,000 workers who did not give up on this mission. The Indian government bringing down expertise from abroad only to aid in this mission. So in every way, they built an environment to ensure that this mission is successfully completed.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And ultimately, somewhere down the line, there is this thinking in our nation, when nothing succeeds, bring in the army will succeed. The army does have this never say die spirit, and they fight against all odds to win. Lieutenant General Harpal Singh, former engineer-in-chief of the Indian Army, former chief of the Border Roads Organization, and the army is constructing multiple tunnels and roads at very crucial peaks and heights in mountains, not just in Ladakh, but also in Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir, and in the northeast. So they have expertise, and perhaps their expertise also played a role along with the ONGC, with Border Roads Organization, with private engineers, everyone working together.
Just imagine, Gaurav, the temperatures have dropped to 4 degrees, minus 4 degrees on some days, because that's that hilly terrain there. So it's really chill, and those workers who are trapped inside the tunnel, they don't even have sunlight. So you can imagine in what freezing conditions that they were surviving. For 17 days, at least for the last 10 days, we can be sure that there was some sweaters and warm clothes that were pushed through those pipes. But the first few days must have been excruciating. I did speak with one of the mothers there of the trapped tunnel worker, and she says that the workers get paid roughly about 20,000, and they work for nearly 12, 13 hours, sometimes 24 hours when there's a lot of work. So for these workers, this kind of motivation from the entire nation was much needed.
Oh, and they know it. We've seen these tunnel construction activities that are happening, and I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Ashutosh Mishra for more on this. Ashutosh, what more have you been able to pick up? How long before all 41 are out?
Well, I believe, Gaurav, it shouldn't be taking more than 100 minutes. Yes, we are talking about minutes. After 17 days, no, not hours. We could say just it's a matter of minutes now. Since the breakthrough has been attained, the Chief Minister himself has gone inside. And, you know, we see this protocol only happens when there is really a breakthrough. Because every day, starting with a new hope, by evening, it turned into disappointment. But today, we see a moment of breakthrough, really a day when they all will be stepping out. But I'll quickly bring you to these images that I see here. This explains the curiosity of the people from the adjoining areas, from this hilly, difficult terrain. They have been living here. They have been seeing this project happening. They have been seeing the rescue operation closely. Everyone have lined up here. Wherever place they found, they're just sitting here for hours now, waiting to see a glimpse of these workers when the fleet of the ambulances will be coming out. It may not be possible physically for all of us to see them when they'll be taking in the ambulances, but they have been working together. There are many laborers from different states in different departments. You know, few work with the excavator, few work with the another GCB, different
the latest update that we have is that the family members have been called inside the tunnel. Would you know for what purpose? Family members have been called inside the tunnel. And could you confirm to us if any of those trapped workers have been brought out at the moment?
Not yet, but if that happens, we will have right behind me, from this top angle of the camera, immediately we'll have the first glimpse of any of the family members of those trapped workers are called. Earlier, while I have been speaking to the officials, the plan was to have the family members with their respective state nodal officers, and those family members will be sent to the concerned hospital where these workers will be taken. Health facility, medical facility, or the hospital. Wherever they will be taken, the family members will be asked to head straight to that place. But if there is a change of plan, probably it would have been decided at the last moment, because there will be ambulances along with the medical team. There are only 2 or 3 members from each family, those who are here. So probably they will be going to those family members. But unless they come here, we will have the first images right here on the stretch when they come to this place. But as far as evacuation is concerned, so far the information is only about the breakthrough and insertion of the pipe. The auger machine still pushing that pipe to a safer, safer distance from the inside of the debris. Because
okay, one bit of information that is coming in is from Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Pushkar Singh Dhami, who said our brothers will be taken out very soon. The Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Pushkar Singh Dhami. Also that picture, I want to cut across to India Today, Shivarur, for more on this. That picture that speaks 1,000 words, Shiv. That picture and that victory sign after 17 days of yo-yoing between hope and despair.
So much to unpack from this amazing picture that we've put out here on India Today. It's the first picture of the rescue personnel inside the actual trap zone. Now, I want to go one by one to explain to our viewers how meaningful this picture is. These 4 men are rescue officials from the NDRF who've made their way inside. One of them is holding a cup of chai. It took them a while to get in, so they're taking a little bit of a break. You can see all of the trapped workers. Some of them are eating. They are sitting there in line. Some of them are standing in the background. These 4 officials obviously flashing the victory sign. But the reason why this picture is so significant is because it gives viewers and people all over the country the first physical sense of how big this trapped area was. Remember, in many people's minds, this was actually a very small zone in which the 41 workers were trapped and closed together. But here you've got the first sense of how large this place actually is. We are told that it was between 1.5 and 2 kilometers wide, long. So there was quite a lot of place for all of these workers to spread out in. You can see some kind of tentage in this area. This could be the area where the workers were sleeping. Remember, winter months, so it has become quite cold in there. Warm clothing, etc. was provided to the workers. So this is probably, I'm just guessing here, but this is probably the place where the workers were actually sleeping. You can see some oil and tar barrels here, obviously part of the construction equipment. All of the workers are still wearing their hard hats. They were asked to wear their hard hats because the possibility of falling debris continued to be quite high even during the rescue and even during the time that they were trapped. Many of them are still in their clothing. Some of them are wearing, warm clothes. You can see the remnants of the construction still quite apparent everywhere else, and some of the equipment that was provided to them over the last 17 days. So this is a very, very significant picture. The first time we're seeing the size of the location where they were trapped.
Shiv, as we see those 4 rescue team members flashing that victory sign, this has come with great difficulty, like you rightly mentioned, with 17 days of challenges and a 4-degree temperature. That's the condition there in that vicinity. Despite that, it's not just the trapped workers who've kept their motivation high. One should really appreciate these rescue team members who've really managed to keep themselves motivated, and the 2,000 odd workers who have joined them.
Everything possible has been done, for the mental upkeep of each of these 41, workers who were trapped. They were given, different kinds of food. They were given mobile phones. We understand they were given some board games and, playing cards to keep them, occupied and not, fall into a depression. Remember, it's very easy to forget that there were 41 workers. 41 is a fairly large number. It's a large number of workers trapped in the
same place. You know, many of them or all of them would have already known each other. They would have been friends, you know, colleagues working together in this tunnel. So for them to have a kind of camaraderie would have been expected. But to be trapped together in a dark place for so long, one can expect, people to get depressed, people to get distressed. And that's the reason why playing cards, mobile phones with video games, other such things were provided on a regular basis to these people so that they were able to pass the time. At the end of the day, when you've got nothing to do, time passes very, very slowly. And even though you've got a lot of people to talk to, you've got the ability to communicate with your family after a few days. The fact is, one of the big fears is that people would simply give up. There would be, panic attacks, mental breakdowns, that kind of thing. And if that happened, it would have become a difficult situation. So that
Shiv,
was
stay
difficult
with
to
us
handle.
for a moment,
but as we
because
can
it's
see in
very
these
crucial
pictures,
to know,
a
Shiv,
great deal of discipline,
how do you keep your morale
very
high?
reassuring smiles from the rescue workers. And I think they've probably had a chance to speak to the workers.
You're absolutely right. How do you keep the morale high? Very, very critical. And I want to bring in Ashutosh Shiva, who stays with Nabila and I on this big story. Ashutosh, you've been there all along. What all was done to help these workers trapped inside keep their morale high? We believe some family members have now gone inside and some workers have been brought out. That seems to be the report from the workers who are down there. Ashutosh, can you confirm that?
We are only hearing that, Gaurav, but only because immediately that won't take more than 5 minutes. The first is, since the Chief Minister himself is inside, immediate the evacuation takes place, the CM himself will be meeting them, because entire agencies, all the state machinery was waiting for this operation to succeed. And exactly from the front portals, we are waiting for that moment, because as and when they come out, immediately the first protocol is for the health team workers, the medical officials to examine their physical condition. And yes, for last 17 days, remember, initial week has been very challenging, because they could, from as narrow as a 4-inch dia pipe, they could only send dry fruits, and that couldn't be possible to survive for really a long time. So there have been, complications, medical situation, and then the doctors had to give them medicines. But now what we see, they succeeded to make another breakthrough by sending a wider pipe, nearly a 6-inch dia. I see some people now literally going inside the tunnel. Either the family members will get a closer shot and then could probably get to know. There are few people are coming with their baggage and other things. If they are the family members, we'll soon identify them, will soon get their glimpse, but they are coming this way. And as and when they are coming out, remember, not only physical condition, the psychological condition was another challenging. So I believe and I know from my sources that there was a team, and in fact the workers from different states, one who speaks Odia, that worker was also called in to speak to them. And the difficulties, the level of difficulties for earlier the communication was, imagine this pipe has literally a 60 meter of length. One used to speak from this end, another from this end. You could barely speak more than 2 to 3 words, and that was audible and probably clear to hear, until they were able to send communication device, a loudspeaker and a microphone, and that was extremely at the last leg of these operations. But cutting with these images right here, so far we haven't been able to see the family members inside, because I remember the earlier officials told me that the protocol they have designed in a way that family members should meet these workers only in the hospital, so at least they could spend enough time together, because getting them inside the tunnel, unless the safety is ensured, because that's extremely narrow passage, and inside there are only debris all side, and only the machinery, heavy equipment, the blades, the harrow blades, the auger machines, other drilling machines, a lot of stuffs are inside, along with the ambulances which are just sent inside. And now the government officials who have been sent, including the Chief Minister, they'll be welcoming these workers once they start being evacuated. So we all are waiting for that moment, but for now, since the breakthrough is achieved,
what's very interesting is that there are 5 public sector teams who are working in tandem. When have we last seen in a country like ours where 5 different agencies, government agencies, have come together to work in collision to achieve this mission? Do we know of a situation like this that's happened in the recent past, where our army, public sector agencies all pressed into action simultaneously?
Oh, absolutely. And that was the need of the hour, bringing in India's might, and India does have the capabilities, as Lieutenant General Atta Hasnain of the National Disaster Management Authority was mentioning, that resources were pooled in from everywhere. The moment machines had to be brought in, Indian Air Force was roped in. Indian Air Force C-130J Super Hercules aircraft were roped in. They flew in machines. The Indian Army, the Army Engineers, Border Roads Organization, when a road had to be constructed to the top of this mountain, that was quickly done. As we discuss all the efforts that went in, and as we wait for that final stretch, now we are waiting for those ambulances to bring those trapped workers out. Let's quickly listen in to how Jaimal Singh Negi, brother of Gabbar Singh Negi of Uttarkashi, how he reacted when this information just came in. My colleague spoke to him. Let's listen in.
गबर सिंह 41 मजदूरों में से एक, जिसने हिम्मत बांधी रखी है अंदर, और बाकी लोग जो टूट रहे थे, मनोबल टूट रहा था, मनोस्थिति टूट रही थी, तो योगा कराया, उनको गेम्स में बिजी रखा। उस गबर सिंह के भाई जयमल सिंह नेगी इस वक्त आज तक से एक्सक्लूसिव बातचीत कर रहे हैं। पहली प्रतिक्रिया, गबर 41 मजदूर सब बाहर आने वाले हैं।
बिल्कुल बाहर आने वाले हैं, और बस अब इंतजार की घड़ियां जो है अब अंत की तरफ बढ़ रही हैं। प्रकृति भी बहुत प्रसन्न है और तमाम पे
लग रहा है वो पहली झलक देखना, ये इंतजार जो है मुश्किल लग रहा है अपने आप में?
बिल्कुल बहुत मुश्किल लग रहा है। बस व्यग्र है, हमारा मन बहुत व्यग्र है।
17 दिन तक आप यहीं बने रहे। मैं आपसे पिछले 10 दिन से रोज बात करता था, आप परेशान दिखते थे, कभी आपका मोराल बढ़ता था, कभी डाउन होता था। अभी मन में क्या महसूस हो रहा है?
नहीं, अब तो वो सब भूल करके अब तो खुशी का वक्त है। वो सबको सोचना अभी इस समय बहुत उचित प्रतीत नहीं होता है कि उन पलों को याद किया जाए।
घर वालों को बताया, खबर दे दी?
अब खबर दे दी है मैंने।
क्या किया?
मैंने उनको कह दिया कि बहुत जल्दी हम मिलने वाले, फिर वीडियो कॉलिंग से आपसे बात कराते हैं। तो वो लोग
भावुक हैं वो?
बिल्कुल भावुक, निश्चित रूप से। अब मिलन के लिए भावुक हैं, पहले बिगड़े के लिए भावुक थे।
So those last anxious moments, bhavuk pal, very emotional moments, as Gabbar Singh Negi's brother Jaimal Singh Negi said. Now these are those moments. The relatives are outside, the rescue workers are outside, the leaders of this rescue effort, they are now all outside at the mouth of this tunnel, at the entry of the Silkyara tunnel, and they're waiting for workers to be medically examined first. They're now being brought out. They'll be medically examined by a team of doctors who are present at the tunnel, and only then will they be referred to the nearest hospital. All arrangements have been made. There are 41 ambulances that are on standby, medical teams on standby. Doctors will actually accompany these 41 workers to those hospitals. One family member will also be permitted. Once again, I want to bring in Ashutosh Mishra for more on this. And Ashutosh, we were just talking about how government agencies from different departments, from ONGC to Indian Army to Indian Air Force to NDRF to SDRF, they all came in together for this effort. And then there was also a representative, we are told, of the Prime Minister's office who's been camping there. What more can you tell us?
Absolutely, multi-agencies, and you cannot even list them out. THDC, ONGC, SGVNL, SVNL, RVNL, BRO, Army, of course Air Force, which airlifted all these machinery, and there are private companies, private Squadron, and then another expert from Lucknow. So if you count the number of agencies, this says that probably there wasn't such operation, and particularly involving both the public sector and private sector, the government agencies, in last 1 decade such operations. We have seen the operations of rescue and evacuation in Turkey. We have seen in Nepal. We have seen several floods, which is the expertise of Army and the NDRF, which are often sent for the relief for the rescue and evacuation operation. But when it comes to difficulties and terrain like this, where you have extremely narrow passage, where are totally incommunicado, and when you establish a communication line literally without anything, then the logistics supplies in this terrain mountain at the more than 6,000 feet of the altitude, you have the narrow passages, you have the landslide areas, then then the giant machines which used to come here were literally in obstructions. Multiple agencies were also used into ensure transportation. And as we speak, looks like General VK Singh has come back here, and he was here since morning along with other officials who is constantly monitoring the situation, and representative as a union government, and also the Minister of State for concerned Ministry Highway and Transport, General VK Singh has been taking a close talk. Yes, General VK Singh, and this is the former DG of Border Road Organization and the former Chief of Engineering, are now entering in the tunnel. He's speaking to the local officials, and now they both are entering tunnel. So that will be a moment when the both representatives from state, of course the head of the government in Uttarakhand, and of course the representative from the union government, General VK Singh, is entering inside the tunnel. They both will be welcoming these workers and keep their morale high. They have constantly establishing communication with whatever mean available. And the moment, there was a breakthrough by sending a 6-inch dia pipe the other side, that was the moment there were proper communication, and that also helped those workers to keep them charged, keep their morale high, and keep their hope alive. And remember, Gaurav, in this kind of operation, you have to, at least keep the hope alive that there are efforts being done, endless efforts being done, and they will be rescued. And that was a challenging task. General VK Singh wearing a safety gear, a helmet, which is of course the SOP while entering in the tunnel. This was to ensure the workers were, if one worker who speaks Udia, the other colleague Udia workers were sent in to speak to them from different languages, different states. This was to ensure proper communication channel, and almost every day or the other day, they used to get an opportunity to speak to their family members. You heard relative of Gabbar Singh Negi who's trapped inside. There are several such families, came from Uttar Pradesh, came from Jharkhand, from Bihar, from Orissa.
Many of those family members were also very upset. In the run-up to this rescue operation, we heard many of the family members so upset. A lady of the trapped worker, wife of one of those workers, was sobbing. She says that he's the only breadwinner for the family with 3 children. Another father said, I'm never going to send my son to work in a tunnel. You had family members not really having hopes that the government could achieve this mission successfully. So today it must be a real day of joy, relief for those family members who were really, who thought that there was no end in sight in this, that their loved ones would be trapped, and and how many of such episodes have happened in the past where landslides have happened, people have lost their loved ones in these tough terrains. So hopes were minimal surely for the family members and the trapped workers.
Well, Nabila, the emotions and the commotion that I'm anticipating here, the world will not be just hope, but it will be a festival, not less than a festival. They did not celebrate Deepavali, they did not celebrate Chhat. It will be a celebration, a festive day, the moment they will be meeting their family members, be it the 41 workers or their family members. Whether the meeting happens here inside the ambulance or inside the hospital, that really be a moment when they'll see literally collapsing every day. When they used to come here, they here get to know that operations being done is in the last scales and last leg, and by evening, by tomorrow, by day after, they'll be out. But then by evening, going back to their accommodations arranged here, they were only taking back was the disappointment. In fact, every day we used to cover from different dimensions, different areas, to speaking to the experts, and everything that could anticipate that it is just matter of hours, if not days. But then, be it on 17th of November, be it on 21st of November, be it on 24th of November, every evening also virtually it was leading to a disappointment. And whenever there was massive situation, one could only anticipate that now this operation is little gone for all. And trust me, the day when this machine, the auger blades, I'll take you to these images of the hero blades of this auger machine. This is the standby American auger machine, was airlifted from Indore. The day we heard that these giant machine have literally collapsed against the drilling when there was a metal surface. That was the disappointment, and there was literally a pin drop silence. Several family members were literally crying, they were emotional, and they literally left in hope. But immediately, just was matter of hours, all the agencies, international, national experts decided, forget about these machines. We're gonna, take multiple approaches. Vertical drilling, multiple drilling, perpendicular, even from the other end near Barcode. But besides that, there was also discussion happening. And then now we need to cut out the muck, we need to cut out and remove the structures, the
Debris,
parts
yes.
of the harrow blades of the auger machine. And then they decided now it is the time to go conventional. The traditional method, of course, in the rat miners. And they were called from different company, from different places who have the expertise. And when you have seen
That nearly
all
12
efforts
of those
literally
rat
fail,
miners were brought in from Delhi itself exclusively for this, Gaurav. Rat mining itself is banned. Mining itself is banned, and rat miners clearly are someone who know the technique of trying to manually excavate. So they were brought in specially for this because machines, the heaviest of the heavy machines, had failed, despite that auger machine
The garlands are now going in. We are looking at those images of garlands being taken inside. 41 garlands, we are told, General V.K. Singh, Minister of State and Road Transport and Highways Ministry, he's gone in. Pushkar Singh Dhami, the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Lieutenant General Harpal Singh, former Engineer-in-Chief of the Indian Army, already inside. Other rescue workers, team leaders, they're all inside, all indicating that it's now just a matter of time before workers are brought out. We are told that there's another team that is inside that's actually capturing this on camera for this to be a test case of how this was a victory against all odds. Ashutosh, at one point of time, it seemed like a lost game when drilling from both sides did not succeed, when that vertical drilling did not succeed, when that machine broke down, it looked like a lost cause, and yet they seem to have succeeded against all odds.
But Gaurav, India is known for winning several battles, which was always said that we the lost. So we are expert in winning the lost battles, and this is exactly what has happened. When this massive technology, everything that failed, the people, the manpower, the ordinary people who did extraordinary work, going inside the narrow tunnel. Imagine this is the hard surface. I'm walking so freely on this structure. Digging out such kind of structure is easier. But when you have a rock solid, literally boulders, metal structures, iron rods, when the machine failed to clear it out, to cut it out, to drill it out, it was the people, the team of the 12 people, the miners. In fact, imagine when this kind of operation is banned in India, it was a rescue operation when these extraordinary people were called in, and they were so confident. One of the such person is named Munna, and India feel proud of Munna and his team who did this exemplary work, extraordinary work. Machine failed, these people by their hand, conventional. To imagine, the drilling machine, the very ordinary hilting machine. We do the drilling in our home when there is a RCC structure to drill out and to put out pasting. This kind of machine, very ordinary machine, they use inside the tunnel. Normal gas cutter, they cut down the material, clear the muck manually. Just imagine these kind of small plate with, collecting the muck and then by a rope pulling it out. So this kind of operational, very conventional method, when every technology failed, every machine failed, the people with that courage. In fact, I asked Munna, and I am sure this message goes to the family of Munna, that there will be no oxygen inside. 60 meter depth, probably you will not be able to breathe. He said, I don't need anything. My brothers are inside. I'll go inside. I'll take them out, whatever it takes. That was the message, and that gave me one moment of courage. That finally it will happen. The breakthrough will happen. If not today, maybe tomorrow. It may take time, but finally it happened. Taking you to these images, a moment of wait. Perhaps they have waited for 17 days, and now every minute is crucial. They are waiting for this moment when the ambulances will come out. General V.K. Singh, along with the officials, carrying nearly 41 garlands, which will be, of course, it's going to be a special welcome for all of these workers who have literally had a race against time in the tunnel when there was no end to the level of difficulties, facing hardship, barely some light in the tunnel, surviving only on dry fruits.
How did they keep their morale high for these 17 days? How did they keep their morale high? What all was done by the workers themselves to ensure that, there's no sunlight, there's hardly any fresh air? How did they ensure that that gloom, doom and despair did not overcome and take over all of them?
Workers from different states, they speak different language, but there was something keeping them united was the difficult situation, and these difficulties, they were united, they were together. One of them used to come to the pipe, and I cannot find literally that pipe here to demonstrate the level of difficulties. We are able to communicate through the satellite communication, through a mobile phone. But the first pipe that was already inside, even the debris fell down in the tunnel, that was one pipe. When everyone on the day this happened, most of these workers literally stepped out of this front portal from the tunnel. Those were strapped, and when they started finding where are the other people, they are going literally untraceable. Then the first sound that few of these workers heard from a very narrow pipe near the front portal. Then they started responding to that pipe extremely thin, nearly 4 inches of the dia. They started hearing some sound, and that was the courage and morale. They knew that someone would come to us, maybe in an hour or maybe in a day. Someone will hear to us. They were constantly sending out signals, and the signal was nothing but just a voice wave, which was traveling a 60 meter in a very narrow pipe. And because of that wave that was followed, that was immediately informed to the NHIDLC. We are hearing some voices from inside, and that was the first channel established between them. 60 meter length of a pipe, and only they could hear 1 or 2 words.
Give me a moment, and for the benefit of our viewers, we want to show you images of the medical team that is now coming out. This is the medical team, additional doctors, additional resources, all being brought in. All the 41 workers, once they're brought out, they will be examined by this medical team right at the tunnel. Once all their vitals are checked and verified, they would be dispatched to hospitals. 41 ambulances on standby, medical teams brought in. So now it's just a matter of time. That's the information that we are getting. Just a matter of time before workers are brought out of this tunnel. It's been a huge task, as India Today's Ashutosh Mishra, our man on ground, has been telling us, and he's been there right from the beginning, getting us all the stories of hope, despair, hope again, and now hopefully that big victory, as you see people, Nabila, lined up at the entrance of the tunnel.
I'm actually very amused with the fact that it's snowing in that region. No wonder that chilly weather conditions has posed such a challenge. You see snow there, and all the doctors there rushing up. Ashutosh, could you explain for us those visuals there? We see the medical help rushing up as they line all those ambulances and stretchers all kept in place. We see doctors entering an area. Tell us more on how soon will we see those trapped workers out? Is there a word from the rescue teams on how soon they be out?
Well, at the moment, Nabila, every official, probably even our sources to get some inside information, they are engaged with this rescue operation and the evac operation. For now, what is happening is these number of the, these doctors that you're seeing in these images will be going in different ambulances. Of course, the primary checks will be done inside the tunnel, where you already have a team of medical experts inside, along with the, of course, the state government head. You have BK Singh, you have Pushkar, Dhami, the chief minister. So these people will take them in ambulance to the nearest health facility as and when it is required. So that is, of course, being lined up here in this difficult terrain. You see the number of, there are nearly 41 to 42 ambulances called up from all districts of Uttarakhand. And the doctors, those who have gone inside, will do the primary examinations of their health and the psychological condition. Few officials have already come out, and we are waiting for some official words about not just breakthrough, but the success of so far that they have been able to make. But for now, we are waiting for an official word, while the head of the governments and all senior officials inside, we are just waiting for one glimpse of the ambulance stepping out. So this is all a preventive steps. These are the preparedness, showing the preparedness of the state government, the administration, the authorities, that how ready they are to deal with any possible crisis. However, that shouldn't arrive at this situation at this moment, that we know the last leg is almost over, and it is just waiting for those images of evacuation. And as we see, probably it is underway, but we need official words, and those images what awaited. And there you see the people having literally patience at this time.
Ashutosh, we have breaking news coming in. Ashutosh, give me a moment as I give our viewers this big story that's been put out by Pushkar Singh Dhami, the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. He's just put out, Baba Boknath ki kripa se असीम कृपा से करोड़ों देशवासियों की प्रार्थना एवं रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशंस में लगे सभी बचाव दलों के अथक प्रयास और परिश्रम के फलस्वरूप श्रमिकों को बाहर निकालने के लिए टनल में पाइप डालने का कार्य पूरा हो चुका है। शीघ्र ही सभी श्रमिक भाइयों को बाहर निकाल लिया जाएगा। So it's a statement that's coming in from Pushkar Singh Dhami, the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. Very soon all the workers will be brought out. The pipes have been put, workers are being brought out. So Ashutosh, the Chief Minister is on ground zero. The Minister of State in the Road Transport and Highways Department, he's reached there. Principal Secretary, the Prime Minister is there. General Harpal Singh, the BRO teams, the engineering teams. What now? Are all workers out? Are some workers out? What can you officially tell us on this?
जब पूरा देश दीपावली मना रहा था, जब पूरे देश को दिया जला रहे थे।
Ashutosh, if you're with us. All right, Ashutosh, a connection is being patched, but we see hectic movement there, Gaurav, and one knows that there are 2,000 workers who are already pressed into action. They are now finally breathing a sigh of relief that all their efforts has finally come to a successful end. As you say, you've just read out Pushkar Singh Dhami, the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, who's said very clearly that the rescue mission is completed. So this is a word coming in directly from the man himself. That's a confirmation that this is ended and those teams...
That rescue operation is intensifying. It's underway.
All right.
It's happening right now.
It's a successful end as we see it coming to a near close there with ambulances there that has already been aligned. Could you read out yet again what the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand has said?
So the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand is talking about how the last pipe has been connected, how people are being brought out, efforts are being made to bring the workers out. And you have the Chief Minister on ground zero. You have the Minister of Road Transport and Highways who's on ground zero. Efforts are on to bring all the workers out right now. Ambulances are all lined up. Mosmi Singh, our colleague, has been speaking to people on ground. Mosmi Singh has also been speaking to members of the rescue party, to family members who are there. Much more on this big story on the other side of a quick break. Stay with us.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
For the last month, I've been crisscrossing the battleground states from Rajasthan to Telangana through Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. It's that reportage experience that I hope to bring to our coverage of the exit poll. Not just studio number crunching, but also the ground zero experience. The complete package on our exit poll coverage, the exact poll, only on India Today.
पता नहीं बिहार में सरकार को ये भ्रम हो गया है कि यहाँ के मुस्लिम समाज के लोग कुछ अलग चाहते हैं। ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। जो मुस्लिम समाज के लोग भी हैं वो देश के संविधान और कानून के साथ चलते हैं। किसी ने मांग किया था क्या 2 कैलेंडर जारी करने का? यानी मुस्लिम मांगे ना मांगे, इन्होंने जबरदस्ती जारी कर दिया। अरे भाई, सबके लिए मुस्लिम समाज के लोग भी बराबरी मांगते हैं, न कि अलग अलग कोई अपीजमेंट मांगते हैं। लेकिन बिहार की सरकार को भ्रम हो गया है कि 2 कैलेंडर जारी कर देंगे उससे इनको कुछ अलग फायदा हो जाएगा। अलग नज़रिए से देख रहे हैं। ऐसे नज़रिए से देखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। मुस्लिम समाज के लिए कुछ काम तो करते नहीं है, खाली कैलेंडरें जारी करते हैं।
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
best view of an Indian election is always from the ground, and I am back on the campaign trail, gauging the mood of the voter this election season. Join me, Preeti Chaudhary, as I come together with the #1 election team in the country, where we'll bring to you the most in-depth ground reports, the sharpest analysis, and the most accurate numbers on exit poll day, 30th November.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
Are you happy with the scooty announced by one of the parties versus a scholarship? Yeah?
No.
Scooty, scholarship?
No.
What would you pick?
Right. Scholarship, obviously, because when we are educated, we might have the ability to purchase that scooty on our behalf rather than getting a scooty directly.
Oh. Do you feel safe in Telangana?
Actually, ma'am, I think the major problem I can see right here is the religious hatred among peoples.
Oh, really? Is that? Okay.
Which is actually leading our country to backward side instead of progress.
But I've hardly seen any communal tensions in Telangana in the recent.
Recently there have been, but it was diverted. So I'm hoping for the party to come in power who can manage the peace between different groups of people.
All right.
Ma'am, there is no right politician in the city right now because there are more problems in the drainage. They have drainage problems, poor people and everything. There is nothing like which you see the tankman in the Telangana. That is not Telangana outside the tankman, ma'am. You can see a lot of problem facings. There are mosquito problems. They are facing problems, they are ration cards problems, they are double bedroom problems. Everything is going to only BRS people, ma'am. No one is helping to another poor people.
Basically, you're saying all political parties have failed to fix your problem.
All political parties, ma'am. Basically, BRS party has been failing every time, ma'am. We have given 2 times of election of this time.
This is a BRS fan right next to you.
Listen, KCR.
Very clearly, he says BRS has failed.
Because KCR has done only for the, you can see here only the Telangana Secretariat and the BR statue and the tankman. You can't see the drainage lines, you can't see the floods, and you can't see the water coming through the tankman outside the, in the Gandhinagar. All
Problems,
the
actual problems are covered.
We are now this time BRS party, bye-bye, only Congress.
For the last month, I've been crisscrossing the battleground states from Rajasthan to Telangana through Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. It's that reportage experience that I hope to bring to our coverage of the exit poll. Not just studio number crunching, but also the ground zero experience. The complete package on our exit poll coverage, the exact poll, only on India Today.
It's a crucial hour of rescue at the Silkyara tunnel in Uttarakhand. The National Disaster Response Force teams are now inside that tunnel. They've moved inside the tunnel. Ambulances have entered the tunnel with oxygen cylinders, and the Uttarakhand police has made a green corridor that's ready to shift the workers to the hospital. Trapped workers to be out any time now. Rescue teams are taking extreme precautions. But garlands have also been brought for a hero's welcome, and indeed these 41 trapped workers at the Silkyara tunnel are heroes, trapped inside for 17 days and counting, and yet they kept their morale high. That image that you see on your television screen, 1, live images inside the tunnel, and 2, that victory sign being flashed by the rescue workers, that shows you the morale of the workers who are engaged in the rescue operations. They've toiled hard, and now it's the time for success. God willing, anytime now, those 41 workers will be brought out. So we are inches away from that miracle actually happening. Ropes and ladders inside the Silkyara tunnel. As you look at this image of the workers who are engaged in the rescue operations, let me also now get you a conversation with the relatives of those trapped rescue workers. They are hopeful. The Lord Almighty has heard their prayers. Let's listen in.
लखीमपुर खीरी के मंजीत टनल के अंदर थे और बाहर चौधरी उनके पिता खड़े थे। आज फैमिली मेंबर का ये कार्ड लगा हुआ है, हाथ में बैग है, चोट भी आई इस दौरान में उंगली पे, लेकिन मुस्कान अब दिखाई दे रही है चौधरी जी के चेहरे पे। वो संघर्ष जो 17 दिनों से यहाँ चल रहा था, कितना मुश्किल था आपके लिए?
हम सबको मुश्किल थी तो हमको भी मुश्किल थी। आज सब खुश तो हम खुश।
आंखों में आंसू आपके पहले से आ रहे हैं?
जी नहीं है, खुशी के आंसू।
खुशी के आंसू?
हाँ, खुशी के आंसू। कुछ
घर में फोन कर दिया?
जी फोन तो नहीं किया, हम तो चलाना ही मोबाइल नहीं जानते, किया नहीं, मगर खबर हो गई होगी वहाँ से।
ये मान के चल रहे हैं क्योंकि आपकी पत्नी आसक पे थी उस दिन, वो बहुत घबराई हुई थी, अपने बेटे के स्वास्थ्य को लेकर चिंतित थी और हम लोगों ने उन्हें कहा था कि सुरक्षित है मंजीत। आज उस बात पे भरोसा होगा जब बाहर आएंगे मंजीत?
बिल्कुल भरोसा होगा, खुशियाँ भी होगी और वो खुशियाँ होंगी जो खुशी में।
अच्छा, ये बैग मैं देख रहा हूँ आप लेके खड़े हैं, इसमें आपके कपड़े हैं, मंजीत के भी हैं?
इसमें हमारे मंजीत की ये बैग।
अच्छा, मंजीत के लिए दूसरा आपने थैला पिट्ठू बैग रखा हुआ है?
यहाँ कपड़े यहाँ थे जो छूट गए थे, काम वो तो अंदर चला गया था, वही कपड़े आज।
तो ये लेके आप एम्बुलेंस में साथ बैठे?
जी जी।
कहाँ जाएंगे?
अब जहाँ जाएंगे वो तो हम नाम नहीं पता। जी जी ठीक ठीक।
क्या बेटे से कुछ सोचा है मन में? 17 दिनों में कितने ख्याल आए होंगे, है ना?
जी जी।
क्या कहूँगा, क्या बोलूंगा, डांटूंगा, सुनूंगा, गले लगाऊंगा, क्या चल रहा है?
वो खुद हमको समझाता था घर वालों को कि आप चिंता मत कीजिए और बोल देना कि हाँ मैं यहाँ सही हूँ, साथ हूँ और घर पे कोई चिंता की प्रॉब्लम ना करे।
तो मनोबल एकदम मजबूत
आते थे, खुद ताकत भर देते थे, जैसे गुब्बारे में हवा भरी जाती है इस तरह ताकत भर देते थे।
आपके अंदर एकदम मनोबल भर देता?
अंदर वालों के टीम के हम खुद भर देते थे, इतनी हिम्मत की।
अच्छा।
वो हिम्मत के बीच में हमारी भी हिम्मत
बनी
छुपी रहे।
हम चाहेंगे कि बहुत समय मिले आपको मंजीत के साथ, वक्त बिताने का समय मिले। परिवार के लिए बहुत संघर्ष का वक्त रहा है। आप पहले भी एक घर में हादसा हुआ?
जी जी हाँ, वही भी बहुत लंबा हादसा था जो कि वही चोट से हमने बड़ी हिम्मत करके जो जीवित हैं कि हमने एक बेटा खो दिया, दूसरा माताजी आज पर्वत ने अपना आंचल खोल दिया बाहर, वो मेहमानी उनकी पूरी हो गई, पर्वत भी की इलाज बच गई, हमारी ही बच गई।
बाबा बौगनाथ की बहुत पूजा हो रही है, वो भी सुरक्षित भेज रहे हैं बेटे को बाहर?
जी जी, तब नाम है हो गया।
गले लगेंगे बेटे से?
बिल्कुल, टाइम मौका मिलते ही गले लग जाएंगे।
कि कौन अंदर फंसे हुए थे?
भैया।
भैया कहाँ के रहने वाले हैं आप लोग? यूपी से?
जी सर।
यूपी में कहाँ से?
सरावस्ती डिस्ट्रिक्ट।
अभी आपको अंदर बुलाया जा रहा है, क्या आप एम्बुलेंस के साथ ही ट्रैवल करेंगे?
जी सर, बिल्कुल सर, हम लोग फैमिली मेंबर है ना सर।
हाँ
जी सर।
तो सीधे हॉस्पिटल जाएंगे साथ में आप लोग?
बिल्कुल, उनका ट्रीटमेंट करेंगे पहले तो, अगर उनका हेल्थ सही रहेगा तो फिर भी मतलब कि एम्बुलेंस में उनको बिठाया जाएगा और हॉस्पिटल में लेके जाएगा, उनका ट्रीटमेंट करेंगे, चेकअप करेंगे उनका। तो अगर उनका हेल्थ सही रहेगा, स्वास्थ्य सही रहेगा तो फिर भी मतलब कि उनको लेके जाएगा, और अगर हेल्थ नहीं सही रहेगा तो फिर भी लेके जाएगा उनको।
So we're looking at these images, Nabila. Look at that hope in his voice. Look at that happiness in his voice. 17 days they waited, and after 17 days, there is hope that finally his son, he's already lost one son, he's hopeful the second son will come out alive. And then those words, हमारी भी लाज रख ली, पहाड़ की भी लाज रख ली. I quickly want to bring in
Gaurav. I was just saying that this is such a tough task for these tunnel workers, and many of them actually get into it only because of the lucrative pay, and for them 20,000 is lucrative. It's very challenging, especially for a person's safety. This is not something that is simple. So parents really, with a heavy heart, send their family members into construction work, especially in those tunnel areas.
It pays well. especially in border areas, you're absolutely right. The working conditions, the other resources that they get, especially if you're working with the Border Roads Organization or the Army. But I quickly want to cut across and bring in Ashutosh Mishra into this conversation. Ashu, as we hear these family members, what can you tell us about the final phase of this rescue operation?
Evacuation. Rescue mission was limited to cut down the debris, clear the muck and send the pipe inside. Now is the evacuation. However, having known the expertise, Gaurav, of NDRF and how capable they are, the evacuation will not be really a big task because, of course, the length is quite 60 meters. But the accessories, the gears, which are totally prepared for the evacuation, and each individual out of 14, one may require maximum 75 to 80 seconds as far as evacuation is concerned, because they will be not dragging literally. There will be no friction between the surface of the 800 dia pipe and the stretcher, but there is a wheel, as we have been saying. It is a wheeled one, so the velocity and the speed of evacuation will be quite high. In fact, as we speak, I was just trying to get a word from the officials of Navayuga. These are other two officials, Mr. Nair and his colleagues, and they were once sending all the machines vertically, horizontally for the drilling process. They just came out and signaled me and asked him, how much time, sir? He literally, indicated that way. We are done. There was no victory number that we are done. I asked him how much time. He said, just wait for some time. So it is just matter of some time. All indications are, coming. And Chief Minister himself has announced that not just breakthrough, but the pipe has already been seen. And as we speak, we can anticipate probably the evacuation is underway. Probably the NDRF personnel would be going inside, and while the evacuation underway, this is a quite time-consuming, time-taking evacuation, medical examinations, and the interaction between the officials, including the Chief Minister, the Union Minister of State, because of course they'll be greeting. They have literally spent 17 days having one of the worst and most difficult time of their lives. Perhaps one could never even imagine that this day could ever come. Trapped and literally losing hope. But then, as you have been asking, Gaurav, what was keeping the morale high? It was the communication. It was giving them a hope that we are here for you. We are doing everything possible. Look, the experts from India and across the world are coming here. We're getting the machineries airlifted. All the agencies, Air Force is lifting the machines. Everything is being done to ensure your safety and evacuation. But the safety was paramount. They never wanted to compromise the safety. Otherwise, I remember there was a day when the local workers of the site and the locals from the near areas, they were so, angry. They wanted to drill this and muck out manually. They all came in a huge number. There, we'll muck out, we'll take out all of them. And that was literally, law and order situation as well. It was difficult for them to make them understand, look, this is a very technical operation. They require a absolute and a precise decision taking, as well as while this operating technically, because this is not a matter of logistics challenges, it was matter of challenges inside the debris, the physical condition, and also the fragile structure of
we know that there were hurdles in terms of iron pipes that the machines had to face while they were drilling through. These iron pipes, these hard stoned material that came in as hurdles for the rescue teams. Eventually, it's the manual drilling that really helped them actually cut through those hurdles. But at the same time, Ashutosh, as we know, those rescue workers have been in conditions where there's very limited oxygen. How did they survive in that very condition with very minimal oxygen, as the debris had blocked off these rescue workers on both sides, on the Barcode side end of the tunnel as well as the Silkyara end of the tunnel?
Well, this was one major concern immediately the day I landed here. I was asking the officials, because there is clearly no air going from this side and even another side remains blocked. How would they survive without oxygen? I was told, and then it was quite physically, having the understand the physics inside, it was possible. Remember, beyond the debris, which is some 200 meters from the front portal, the depth of the debris is 60 meters. Where these workers are across the debris side, from them to the another end where Barcode, which is of course sealed, there is a distance of nearly 2 kilometers. My apologies, I thought I am hearing some slogans or chanting. this could be probably as a message of victory, but that doesn't happen. Of course, it's a curiosity. So because of the distance that they had right behind them was more than 2 kilometers, and these kind of situation, you have enough amount of oxygen for the survival of 41 workers. That how they could survive, but less than 48 hours through, because there was one pipe available for communication that was used for ventilation, and suppress oxygen machine were used to pump them some more amount of oxygen. So that wasn't really very critical or crucial condition as far as oxygen situation in the tunnel is concerned, because 41 workers even taking oxygen, breathing CO2 will not really impact in a such kind of huge tunnel size where you have a 2 kilometer of this space. In fact, even on the other side there were several vehicles, because there's a tunnel, that's a huge project. You have everything on the other side.
The final countdown has begun in this rescue operation. Anytime now, the workers will be brought out, and we are getting you this information first live on India Today. Factually, every bit of information cross-checked with those on ground. The NDRF team is now taking those workers out of that tunnel. The medical teams of the Uttarakhand government and the army are on standby. They will examine all the 41 workers. There are 41 ambulances that are on standby, and those ambulances will then take all these workers to the hospital. Their family members are there. The Chief Minister of Uttarakhand is waiting. Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Minister of State for Road Transport and Highways, General V.K. Singh, former Chief of the Army Staff on Ground Zero, as is Lieutenant General Harpal Singh, former Engineer-in-Chief of the Indian Army, someone who was a part of this rescue operation, the NDRF team, all of them on standby. And we are also showing you those images, Nabila, as those workers are now being
all right,
brought
hang on, Gaurav, there's lots of reactions pouring in as we inch closer.
हम ये चाहते हैं कि 40 दिनों का जो 40 जिंदगी जो है मौत और इसके जूझ रही थी, आज जो है मोदी जी के प्रताप से जो है सारे लोग जो सकुशल जो है खुली हवा में सांस ले रहे हैं।
अगर इस देश के प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी नहीं होते तो शायद ये 40 मजदूर बाहर भी नहीं निकल पाते। ये मोदी जी की कृपा है, जिन्होंने अपनी इसमें पूर्ण नजर बनाए रखी, और धामी जी और मोदी जी का कुशल
देना चाहिए।
बस सब ठीक हो रहा है प्रभु, सब ये ईश्वर की कृपा है, सब सही सलामत बाहर आ गए हैं, वही सब आशीर्वाद है भगवान का।
आप देख रहे हैं कि तमाम स्थानीय निवासी हैं, कह रहे हैं प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी की अहम भूमिका रही, और जिस तरह से इस पूरे ऑपरेशन को अंजाम दिया गया, कहीं ना कहीं जो व्यवस्था रही उसके चलते ही आज जो है टनल के दूसरे छोर पर श्रमिकों को रोशनी नजर आएगी। इस तरह का माहौल आप देखिए, यहाँ पे तमाम पूरे ऊपर तक दिखाइए सत्या किस तरह से उत्तराखंड के निवासी अब धीरे धीरे करके यहाँ पे आ रहे हैं। काफी अलग से सिलक्यारा जो है अलग इलाका, यहाँ पे ज्यादा रिहायशी नहीं है, पर फिर भी जो भी लोग लगातार रोज यहाँ पे आ रहे थे वो यहाँ पे कई यहाँ पे मजदूर भी हैं भैया, ये लोग सब लोग यहाँ पे हैं। आज बड़ा दिन है आप लोग के लिए।
बिल्कुल बहुत बड़ा दिन है हमारे लिए, आज का बहुत बड़ा दिन है। धन्यवाद है इन सरकार के लिए भी, आप लोगों के लिए इतना 17 दिन तक आप लोगों ने बहुत ज्यादा सहयोग किया है, और मैं बाबा बौखनाग नाग देवता से बहुत बहुत प्रार्थना करता हूं, और इन लोगों को 17 लोगों को सकुशल बौखनाग कृपा और नाग देवता कृपा से बाहर निकाला जाए।
तो यहाँ पे श्वेता यही स्थिति है ग्राउंड जीरो पे, आप देखिए कि बस इंतजार हो रहा है।
That's Moshmi. They're speaking to some of those workers, many of the family members of those workers who are stationed right outside, who are praising the government, who are praising Prime Minister Modi. Of course, there's a lot of effort that has been put into ensuring synchronized efforts by multiple public and private sector teams, Gaurav. So credits there going out to the government of the day and Prime Minister Modi. Of course, at this point, the family members are praising this rescue mission that was being overseen by the government. Undoubtedly, some kind of credit must be given.
So this was a national effort. The fact that people on ground are saying that NDRF teams brought in, Indian Air Force roped in, and usually there was a time when Indian Air Force would only be kept for military missions, at borders. But whether it's to rescue Indians trapped overseas or in this case instantly fly men and materials, especially that crucial auger machine that was required, Air Force teams were roped in, Army teams were roped in, former Engineer-in-Chief General Harpal Singh deputed. But Nabila, let's quickly bring into this conversation our colleague Mosmi Singh. Mosmi, you were speaking to rescue workers, you were speaking to family members. Bring us the pulse on ground, Mosmi. How long now before we officially know that 41 have been brought out and are safe? What's the ground position?
All right, I'll ask my VJ Satya to just turn the camera 360 degrees as I walk, and you can see that the euphoria, the anticipation is in the air. There's a spring in every step and music of faith issuing in every lip here, because this is the moment. Any time from now, you can see that the tunnel right behind me, the ambulance will ferry out these workers who've been stranded for 17 days. And it's a moment where everybody was waiting with bated breath, Gaurav. It hasn't been an arduous, it has been a very arduous rescue operation. As experts told me that we would rate it 10 on 10 on the scale of difficulty. So you can very well imagine several dips, several failures, and yet the agencies, the entire team really kept their nerves. They didn't lose their cool and kept at it, didn't lose hope. And there you are. The ambulances are right here, the pilot car stationed right in front, and any time now we'll see the 2-3 ambulances that have gone inside, that those will ferry out the workers to Chaniali Saw. But Uttarakhand citizens are gathering here. Behind me I can see a lot of citizens. They are celebrating this moment. A small temple right at the nozzle of the tunnel was in fact the focal point where all of them prayed and really hoped that there would be light at the end of the tunnel. बात करते हैं किस तरह से आप देखते हैं भैया, कैसे मुमकिन हुआ ये
प्रभु बासुकीनाथ की कृपा है, उसकी मुमकिन थी, और ये भारत सरकार की समस्या से जो बेचारों हाँ जी पूरे खुश हैं। आप पत्रकार भाइयों की भी धन्यवाद है, पुलिस वाले भाई, आपदा वाले भाई, जो सबने सहयोग दिया, वो आपके कोटि कोटि प्रणाम है। ऐसी बात नहीं, सब लोगों को निकलना चाहिए, वो कुशल मंगल आना चाहिए। नाग देवता से हमारी इतना मंगत है, वो आप लोगों से भी।
कितने खुश हैं आप लोग?
हम तो बहुत खुश हैं, भगवान भोगनाग जी की कृपा से ये सारे सकुशल बाहर निकल पा रहे हैं।
हम भी बहुत खुश हैं, उत्साहित हैं, और खासकर जो हमारे 41 लोग अंदर बंद थे टनल में, आज उनके परिवारों के चेहरों में कितनी खुशी होगी कि हमारा जो अपना आदमी आज सुरक्षित बाहर आया है। साथ में यहाँ पर जितनी भी एजेंसियां काम कर रही हैं, मैं इनको धन्यवाद दूंगा। मीडिया कर्मी, SDRF, NDRF, 17 दिन से बिल्कुल आपने भी बिल्कुल धरना दे रखा है, और एक ही बात है कि जब तक हमारे श्रमिक 41 भाई सुरक्षित बाहर नहीं आते तब तक आप खड़े डटे रहे। बिल्कुल आपका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, और एक बार पुनः तमाम एजेंसियों को धन्यवाद।
So here you are, and you know that's the picture of a laborer. You can see that they work in very difficult circumstances, very difficult situations, and laborers like these, you know, they have actually a willpower of steel. I was speaking to experts and they said any ordinary person couldn't really survive the arduous rescue operations where you didn't know whether you'll be rescued at all. And as we talk about the relatives of the workers, you can see that they are there with their bag and baggage. They've been waiting. Now every moment from now on is like it's a very, very nervous moment for them, because they are just waiting for this long period of wait to end. They've got all their bags and baggages. They'll be perhaps going in the ambulances that the laborers will be ferried in. And that's the team of doctors. You can see one doctor for every ambulance that has been assigned. They're also going inside. Perhaps the time nearing when these workers will be pulled out and it's you know, this entire scene as if is on a standby mode. The moment the workers, the laborers come out, it's going to be a celebration of sorts, not only on ground zero, but also for all those viewers who've been watching India Today, who've been praying, all the countrymen and women who've been praying a lot. And this is like a victory of sorts, a victory over all the struggle, victory over death, and a celebration of the willpower and...
Absolutely. Mosmi, you know, along with the team, these rat miners who've gone inside, the auger machines that were being used, all the effort that was being made simultaneously, there were also prayers that were happening simultaneously at the homes of all these 41 workers. And right here, the Chief Minister himself referred to Baba Boknag and his Ashirwad. Since late last night, they said we feel that something positive is going to happen. That's what the workers have been telling you, Mosmi.
Absolutely, there has been an air of positivity, and you know, on Friday there were some nervous moments when the auger machine actually broke down, because before that there was a finality to the entire operations, only 10 meters left, and when the machine broke down, and even worse when the parts got stuck, it was actually a rewind of sorts where they had to start getting the entire damaged parts out of that space so that the rescue ops could proceed manually. And once, you know, we should discuss the role of the rat miners who went inside, you know, extraordinary men with extraordinary skills, and extraordinary courage, trying to stand with their brethren there, you know, and they went inside sure that they can do it. And this was an 800 mm pipe. They said, we've done it earlier, we've done a 600 mm pipe, and we are going to do this. And that actually boosted the hopes of 150 crore population, you know, because that was the time, that was the turning point of this entire operations. They believed they could do it, and the agencies also showed a lot of faith. And since yesterday evening, the rat miners have done an excellent, outstanding job. They've done it in lesser time than anybody would have imagined. They were calculating it could be 2 days from now, but it's been less than 24 hours that they've been at that job. So, and that's quite a difficult job. They've gone in with their masks and their helmets, and they are taking shifts to ferry out all the debris from that very narrow pipe. But now once they come out, hopefully we can get an interaction with them and try and fathom how difficult this operation for them was, considering that they knew that somebody
we are getting from inside the tunnel, Mosmi, and we want our viewers to see this. This is where the workers who are inside the tunnel will be brought out. So the medical camp has been set up. 41 beds, that's where you see the medical camp has been set up. All the equipment, all the medical equipment that will be required already in place. Doctors on standby. The moment the workers are brought out, these are doctors on standby. They will be examined here. Their blood pressure would be checked. Their vitals would be taken. Should they require additional oxygen, there you see those oxygen cylinders on standby. Ambulances on standby, and they will then ferry these people to Chilyani Sor. Chilyani Sor is where you have the hospital where all the workers would be taken, Nabila. So systems are all in place.
Absolutely, and this is basically nothing but preparations for trauma assessment, Gaurav. The moment the workers are brought out, their conditions are going to be checked, how stable they are, their their breathing rhythm is going to be checked. Of course, their mental stability in 17 days' time, how far have they managed to keep their morale high. All of that will be evident with their pulses being checked, their BP levels. All of that will be examined here post their exit. They will first be admitted here, or rather they will go through this medical camp, only then will they exit. So it's interesting to see that you have half of a hospital itself, a makeshift hospital that's been set up up there along the tunnel rescue site only to ensure that there's no delay in transporting these people to the hospital, before which they're checked here. Any kind of emergencies will be rushed. But for now, we know that this is a setup being done because in moments from now, we're expected to see those trapped tunnel workers out, hopefully safe. Maushmi, who is still with us. Maushmi, these are visuals showing almost a makeshift hospital that's been set up at the tunnel site. Very interesting to see doctors taking position as we know that the time is ticking, the clock is ticking. It's coming to a near end with those tunnel workers going to be brought out in possibly the next hour.
Right, and somewhere the constant monitoring of the Uttarakhand Chief Minister is also inside, and the local MLA here is with us and we'll take his reaction. Sir, आज बहुत ऐतिहासिक क्षण आप लोग के लिए, किस तरह से देखते हैं? क्या आप खत्म हो गया रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन? क्या अभी मौजूदा स्थिति है?
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो मैं भगवान भोकनाथ महाराज सभी देवी देवताओं से प्रार्थना करता हूँ कि जितने भी शर्मी के अंदर जो फंसे हुए थे वो सकुशल बाहर आए, वो हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ी जीत होगी। और मैं अपने प्रदेश के यशस्वी मुख्यमंत्री आदरणीय पुष्कर सिंह धामी जी का भी तहे दिल से धन्यवाद करता हूँ कि डे 1 से जब से उन्होंने यहाँ जो परिस्थिति आई, यहाँ पे आपदा आई, तब से उन्होंने यहाँ पे पर्सनली जो है स्थलीय निरीक्षण पे भी लगे थे और कई दिनों अपना जो है कैंप कार्यालय भी यहाँ पे रखा। बट इट्स प्राउड मोमेंट टू अस कि हमारे जितने भी जो श्रमिक है वो आ जाए, बाहर आए, वो हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ी एक सफलता होगी। और आगे देखें बहुत जल्दी जो है लोगों को जो, क्योंकि सबसे पहले हमारी ये प्राथमिकता है कि लोगों को एक उनको सकुशल उपचार मिल जाए और वो अपने परिजनों से मिले।
व्यवस्था की होगी क्योंकि 17 दिन तक टनल में थे, मानसिक रूप से भी काफी जो है आहत होंगे, अफेक्टेड।
डेफिनेटली हो सकता है। देखिए ये ह्यूमन बीइंग है, ये इंसान को कुछ भी कोई भी परिस्थिति हो सकती है, लेकिन हम सब लोग आज हम सब लोग प्रे करें कि वो सकुशल बाहर आए और जल्दी से जल्दी अपने परिजनों से मिले।
और उम्मीद करते हैं कि बधाई देने का भी मौका मिलेगा बहुत जल्दी। तो ये सी दिस इज एक्चुअली अ मोमेंट वेयर everybody, whichever party or whichever agency, they're all working unitedly. Here he's talking about the role of the Chief Minister also. It is actually has been a very, very difficult time also for the state government because they've been putting in all their might, pulling in all the strings, coordinating with the center, coordinating with different agencies. There have been sleepless nights for each and everybody who's been involved in this operation. It's not been
of our viewers joining us now
with, dozens of
yes,
multiple agencies involved.
Absolutely. Explain this process now that that final link up has happened. How are workers being brought out? Because till some time back there was this information that perhaps 10 to 15 have already been brought out, the remaining are being brought out. What is the procedure that's being adopted to bring them out of the tunnel, to bring them out through those pipes?
Right, Rahul. So we had, sorry Gaurav, sorry for that. Gaurav, we had spoken to experts and they said that it can't be like in a jiffy that you got the pipes laid and you can just ferry the workers out, because they'll have to crawl out of the pipes, and you have to understand that what they've been through for the past 17 days, you have to make them understand that, the entire drill. And so perhaps they'll be going through that entire drill, making sure that the weak or the ones who are medically more sick, they should be ferried out first, and perhaps after that the medical checkups are happening inside, because there are a couple of more than a couple of ambulances that we saw going inside, some teams also going inside. We've seen vehicles being backed. So that's about what, if you look at that tunnel, there's about the entire stretch where the tunnel was already dug in was about 1.5 kilometers, I'm told. So another 60-meter stretch was debris. So the pipes have been laid in that 60 meter. Of course, the auger machine dug in about 48.
Right.
So about 10 meters of pipe have been laid, 800 mm pipes. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, and that wait is not going to be too long, Maushmi. We know that that it's basically another hour at max that this rescue mission should come to an end. But India Today, be sure, is keeping a hawk's eye. Our cameras here continue to roll as we interact with the rescue team members as well as the trapped workers' families. We're keeping a strict vigil, if we could say, through our reporters on ground and through our cameras. We're bringing you live broadcast of this rescue mission in its near completion stage. Slipping into a short break, coming up with a lot more with our reporters on ground.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a B&P Group company.
मोदी जी के हैं दो यार, ओवैसी और केसीआर.
మోదీ గారి రెండు ప్రియతమ నేస్తాలు, ఒకటి కేసీఆర్, ఒకటి ఓవైసీ.
मोदी जी के दो यार, ओवैसी और केसीआर.
మోదీ जी के दो यार, ఇద్దరు స్నేహితులు, ఒకరు కేసీఆర్, మరొకరు ఓవైసీ.
केसीआर चाहते हैं कि नरेंद्र मोदी दिल्ली में प्रधानमंत्री रहे.
కేసీఆర్ గారు ఆశించేది ఏమిటంటే నరేంద్ర మోదీ గారు ఎప్పుడు ఢిల్లీలో ప్రధానమంత్రిగా ఉండాలని.
और नरेंद्र मोदी चाहते हैं कि केसीआर तेलंगाना का चीफ मिनिस्टर.
అదే విధంగా నరేంద్ర మోదీ గారి ఆశ ఏంటంటే రాష్ట్రంలో కేసీఆర్ గారు ఎప్పుడు ముఖ్యమంత్రిగా ఉండాలని.
राहुल के दो प्यार, एक इटली एक मोदी. राहुल के दो प्यार, एक इटली एक मोदी. इटली क्यों? उनकी अम्मा वहां से आई. मोदी क्यों? क्योंकि मोदी उनकी ताकत है. मोदी के लिए राहुल ताकत है. तो राहुल के दो प्यार, एक इटली और एक मोदी.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 23 and minimum 16 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 27 and minimum 25 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 31 and minimum 20 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 26 and minimum 19 degrees. Chennai, maximum 29 and minimum 25 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 29 and minimum 20 degrees.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a B&P Group company.
इनमें और बीजेपी में कोई फर्क नहीं है. देश की जो केंद्र सरकार है वो भी सिर्फ बड़े बड़े उद्योगपतियों के लिए चलती है. सिर्फ सत्ता में रहने का मकसद है और कोई मकसद नहीं है. और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने इस देश की सारी संपत्ति, जो आपकी संपत्ति है, अपने बड़े बड़े उद्योगपति मित्रों को दे दी. अब आप इस चुनाव में एक बात समझ लीजिए, एक तरफ बीजेपी, बीआरएस और एमआईएम है, और एमआईएम कोई कम नहीं है, सिर्फ बीआरएस को, बीजेपी को मदद करने के लिए है. एक तरफ ये है और एक तरफ कांग्रेस पार्टी है. आपको 5 साल और बीआरएस का राज चाहिए या एक नया सवेरा चाहिए, एक नया भविष्य चाहिए, और कांग्रेस की तेलंगाना में एक अच्छी, सच्ची और कर्मठ सरकार चाहिए.
last month, I've been crisscrossing the battleground stakes from Rajasthan to Telangana through Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. It's that reportage experience that I hope to bring to our coverage of the exit poll. Not just studio number crunching, but also the ground zero experience. The complete package on our exit poll coverage, the exact poll, only on India Today.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
The latest images that you see on your television screen, multiple cameras that India Today has on ground zero at the Silkyara tunnel to get you the latest on the rescue efforts. It's the final countdown. Camera 1 inside the tunnel. Camera 2, all the efforts and the rescue workers and families outside. Camera 3, the medical equipment that's been set up inside that tunnel as soon as the workers are brought out.
You know, this is really a mission that we've not seen in the recent past, at least through my years of journalism, Gaurav. This is the first time that I've seen 5 public sector agencies, all including the National Highways and Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited. We have the Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. We have the Satluj Jal Vidyut Nigam. We have the Tehri Hydro Development Corporation Limited and the Rail Vikas Nigam Limited. These are the 5 public sector agencies who are pressed into action, each being given individual responsibilities to carry on with rescue operations on their end. We also have Border Roads Organization, the BRO, as well as the Indian Army. So this is the first time that we are seeing public and private sector agencies. Private sectors, a few of the companies there, also the ones who actually built that tunnel, they were all in action in tandem and coordination with our government and public sector agencies to ensure synchronized efforts. We have not seen this kind of large-scale evacuation efforts in recent times in India.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll talk about this in greater detail over the course of the next 1 hour as we get to the latest on the efforts that are being made to bring our workers outside. 41 workers trapped for the past 17 days and counting. And you're looking at these images, last-minute efforts on to bring them out. We'll also get you a health update on these trapped workers. The information that we've been able to gather, they're all fine. They will be out anytime now. That camera 3 images of a medical unit that's been set up inside that tunnel. Medical tests for workers will be done here after they have been evacuated. Mattresses, oxygen cylinders, all inside the tunnel. Trapped workers' skin also at the tunnel site. This picture actually signifies the latest in the effort. The rescuers, they're extremely confident that pipe was set up and anytime now the workers will be out. I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Amit Bharadwaj joining us with the latest on this big story. Amit, we were told it's now the final countdown. Anytime the workers will be brought out. What more can you tell us? What's the latest?
Well, Gaurav, you know, the preparation that is happening on the ground is quite interesting. I'm standing at the mile 0 of the green corridor. This green corridor is going to be the most important part of the entire rescue operation after the physical extraction of the worker is over. NDRF, hands over those workers to the medical team. And right behind me is the queue of ambulances which have been, queued up till the hilltop. And remember, Gaurav, we were discussing the entire rescue operation for the past several days, and I told you that this particular road has been built up by the BRO for movement of the heavy machineries for the vertical drilling. And who knew that this particular road built by BRO will also be serving as the entire passage for the ambulances to get queued up. Now what we are given to understand that after the NDRF completes that mission, all these 41 rescued workers will be put in these ambulances after initial medical examination. And right from here, from mile zero of the green corridor, the journey to the hospital, the primary health center in Chinyali-Sor will begin. That would take 40 to 50 minutes to complete, and there a detailed medical examination will happen. But we will have to wait for those visuals. You know, we have also broken the visuals of the ambulances which has been queued up inside the tunnel as well, how the beds have been kept, how the doctors are waiting for that moment when these workers will be taken out and thorough initial medical examination will be done. But Gaurav, you know, these moments of waiting is actually really difficult for the family members who are standing right next to the ambulances. I'll request Deepak to zoom in the camera. All these people that you are seeing on the screen right now with their iCards on, bags on their shoulders. These are the family members of the 41 workers who have been trapped inside the Silkyara tunnel for the past 17 days. They have been called in. They are on standby as well, like our authorities, like the paramedics, like the doctors. And what is going to happen is that while these workers will be put inside these ambulances, the family members of the stranded workers who rescued workers rather will be accompanying them inside that ambulance, and they'll also go to the primary health center in Chinyali-Sor. And Gaurav, I did speak to Lakhimpur Khiri's Manjeet's father, Mr. Chaudhary, and this story is something that has actually all through the days moved us. Every time we would meet him out here in Silkyara, he has his son's bag on his back, on his shoulder, and is holding another bag in his hand, which is his bag. And Chaudhary had already lost his son, elder son, and now Manjeet was even, trapped inside the tunnel. And first reaction, he says that he'll hug his son, and he says that Devi maa ne darwaze khol diye, pahar ne darwaze khol diye, mera beta bahar aayega, my son will come out. So these are very emotional moments which are unfolding at Silkyara tunnel right now. But I can surely tell you that 17 days these family members have been waiting, have been wanting to see their son, their fathers, their husband to step out. But today is the day.
Stay with us for a moment.
They're finally
Amit, stay with us for a moment. Latest images from inside the tunnel, and we're just putting them out full frame for our viewers. Nabila and I are getting you these latest images on India Today. Nabila, images from inside the tunnel. Take it away.
We see the rescue teams there surrounding the pipe. That's the lifeline, if we could call it. That pipe is exactly the pipe where those rescue workers will be brought out through. So it's going to be a tough task. They've got to literally crawl their way through from one end to the other. So it's about 60 meters. We believe, and that pipe is going to be acting like a lifeline. Before those workers are going to be brought out, we see that rescue team members themselves, along with the doctor, will be climbing through that pipe, pushing themselves on the other side to meet with those rescue workers, have a chat with them, check their medical status, a quick health checkup, and then they will be loaded onto stretchers and then will be pulled out. It's a real Herculean task, which the rescue teams are really making it look so easy for us. 17 days has been a real task with them working round the clock. Gaurav, we must appreciate our rescue teams have not had a minute's break. Even through the night on many days, we believe that they've been working on ground in batches. So this is all the credit going out to the rescue team members, 2,000 of them across 5 public sector and private sector agencies pressed in action. This is the first image coming in right here on India Today, where we show you those rescue team members surrounding that very lifeline, that pipe, which is going to be acting as the agent or the conduit for those trapped workers to be coming out in just no time from now.
The workers, God willing, will be out anytime now. That's what we are being told. Garlands have been taken inside this tunnel. The Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Minister of State, Road Transport and Highways, General V.K. Singh, the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Pushkar Singh Dhami, Lieutenant General Harpal Singh, former Engineer-in-Chief of the Indian Army, someone who was roped in to take over and help with the rat mining part of this operation, because they'd studied this problem from every angle, Amit, and everything had been tried. For 17 days, the auger machine drilling through multiple sites. Ultimately, they realized that rat mining perhaps would be the way forward to quickly bring our people out.
True, Gaurav. Nabila was just saying that many of the days around the clock rescue operation was conducted by these officials. But, let's give credit to them as well. It's been every day, I believe, ever since the auger machine, American auger machine came to the place. We have seen a relentless work, round the clock work on the ground happening. You might say that the drilling is not going on because there's problem with the auger machine, there's problem with the pipeline. But even at that point in time, the rescue operation did not stop. These people were working round the clock to take care of every challenge that the Himalayas threw up while during this rescue operation. And today is the day, result of that 17 days of effort which has gone into this entire rescue operation brings these visuals that ambulances are all lined up on the BRO's road. One more important part, Gaurav, as you were mentioning about the rat mining technique which was eventually used, we have to remember it's a man plus machine mission which has succeeded. Initially, the hopes were from the auger machine, but even this entire rescue operation, when it came to its final chapter, the rat mining technique workers went inside. They did the excavation, physical extraction of the debris, and it was pulled out through trolleys. But you're taking care of the debris through manually, but how are you pushing those pipes inside the tunnel? That's when the role of the auger machine comes in. The auger machine did fail in drilling through and getting a breakthrough, but the pushing of the pipes was still happening through the auger machine, and that chapter continued. So it's a victory of a united effort by several agencies, several experts, several brains that today we will see those 41 men stepping out of the Silkyara tunnel, and it's going to be emotional, very emotional moment for the families who are waiting here. As I was also mentioning about the Lakhimpur Kheri family of Manjeet, his mother is yet to speak to the father. Chaudhary does not have a cell phone, and he's believing that his wife must be watching TV, and from there she must have gotten the report about Manjeet's rescue as well. So these are very emotional moments for the families, but also for every person who was involved in the entire rescue operation. We have seen someone like Colonel Deepak Patil working round the clock, taking care of every challenge which was coming up on their way. So big day, Gaurav, and big efforts have been put in place.
Amit, if I could ask you, while the rescue operations continued right from the start, what was that one point? At what point did the rescue operators or those team members who were carrying out rescue missions believe that this was now a dead end, that they had reached a roadblock, and now they've got to take international expertise that needs to be brought in to aid in this operation? What was that one breaking point for those rescue teams?
Nabila, I think there were 3 points actually. But the government was planning to get all the foreign experts possible, because right from the beginning they had a realization. After first 2 days, they had a realization that this is going to be possibly the toughest rescue operation that the world has witnessed, and it happened so as well. 22 meters of pathway, 900 mm dia pipe was being pushed, and after that it was a complete roadblock. They didn't know what to work, and then eventually alternate plan was brought in, that 800 mm dia pipeline will be pushed in to create that rescue tunnel through which eventually these workers will be coming out. And a couple of days back, you would remember, we were also having similar conversation as to when these people will step out. Everybody was hopeful, and then came the moment of the American auger machine failing down, breaking down inside the tunnel, and it was so bad that these rescue operators had to airlift plasma cutters, other equipments from different parts of the country. Experts were brought in, and the whole effort was
what's
being
happening
made,
right now?
to get rid of the auger.
What's happening right now? What's the effort that's being put in right now? Because we are looking at these victory signs. We were told that the effort is already on. Some workers have been brought out. What's happening right now?
Gaurav, you would realize the fact that the entire operation of this rescue through the tunnel is going to be a lengthy process. You know, these are not normal people who were freely walking around for the past 17 days. They must have lost
give me a moment, Amit. We'll continue this conversation, but I quickly want to cut across and listen into Lieutenant General Syed Atta Hasnain.
जो मलबा निकल रहा था, मेटालिक मलबा, वो अभी भी उस आगे मिलता रहा हमको, उसको काटा गया है, कटर्स के साथ निकालते रहे, रात भर काम हुआ है इसके ऊपर। और टीम्स जो हैं हमारे रैट माइनर्स एक्सपर्ट्स जो हैं, बड़ा मुश्किल काम जो कर रहे हैं, बड़ी एनक्लोज स्पेस है, मशीन हैज बीन वर्किंग। और इसके बावजूद अभी हम 58 मीटर पे हैं, पाइप पीछे से पुश होता गया है विद द हेल्प ऑफ द ऑगर मशीन, द प्रेशर ऑफ द ऑगर मशीन, एंड वी आर होपिंग अंदर 2 मीटर तकरीबन लगेगा, और अंदर पुश जब होगा तब वी कुड से दैट आर पार हो गए हैं। ये खबर तो जरूर आई है, उसको मैं कंफर्म भी कर सकता हूं कि अंदर से लोगों ने कहा है कि आवाजें आ रही हैं काम होने की। जगह जहां पर तकरीबन ये छेद निकलेगा, जहां पर टनल निकलेगा, वो उसका अंदेशा लगाया जा सकता है अब अंदर से कुछ हद तक। तो ये सब बहुत पॉजिटिव खबरें हैं जो मैं आपको बता रहा हूं इस वक्त। मगर याद रखिए कि अभियान जब इस तरह का चलता है, जिसमें 400 घंटे से ज्यादा हम इन्वॉल्व रहे हैं अभी तक, पूरे सेफ्टी प्रिकॉशन, आखिर तक सेफ्टी प्रिकॉशन जो है वो अपनाए जाएंगे। किसी चीज पर भी प्री मैच्योर कार्रवाई, प्री मैच्योर अनाउंसमेंट करना जो है वो गलत होगा। इट विल बी अगेंस्ट ऑल प्रिंसिपल्स। तो इसलिए पूरे सेफ्टी प्रिकॉशन, आपको याद दिला दूं, अंदर 41 हैं, बाहर बहुत लोग हैं जो इसमें जुटे हुए हैं इस काम में। उनकी सेफ्टी और सिक्योरिटी जो है उतना ही महत्व रखती है जितना अंदर वालों की है। सो वी आर नॉट इन एनी हरी, मगर हम अपनी पाबंदी के मुताबिक मीडिया से मिल रहे हैं। 4, सवा 4 बजे आपको बता रहे हैं ये कि ये स्थिति इस समय है। इसके ऊपर मैं ये भी बता दूं कि ये एफर्ट जो है, डिस्पाइट मेनी हर्डल्स, बहुत बाधाएं आई हैं इसमें। बिल्कुल जैसे एक अभियान के अंदर होता है कि अभियान में प्लान, ऑपरेशंस के अंदर प्लान बनाए जाते हैं, तजवीजें बनाई जाती हैं, मगर जब जैसे ही ऑपरेशन लॉन्च होता है वो तजवीज जो है वो नष्ट हो जाती है। उस तजवीज को दोबारा रिव्यू करना पड़ता है और यू हैव टू कीप रीमेकिंग योर प्लान्स। बिल्कुल वैसे ही हुआ है, वैसी स्थिति यहां हुई है। अब देखें, पूरे 5 ऑप्शन 6 ऑप्शन हो गए थे। कहीं कहीं सामान, कहीं कहीं मशीनें फंसी हुई थी, उनको सुपर ह्यूमन एफर्ट लग रही थी यहां पर लाने के लिए। गवर्नमेंट का कोई ऐसा डिपार्टमेंट ही नहीं है जो शायद इसके अंदर जुटा नहीं था। बड़ी खुशी होती है जब कहते हैं कि मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर, वहां से शुरू अगर करें, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट एंड हाईवेज, which has been the core ministry involved in this whole thing. जब 12 तारीख को इसकी खबर आई तो सबसे पहला जो शायद हमने जो कम्युनिकेशन किया था वो रेलवे बोर्ड, क्योंकि सबको मालूम है कि रेलवेज के पास बहुत एक्सपर्टीज होती है, टनलिंग, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट, जिस तरह का काम हो रहा है अभी कश्मीर के रेलवे के लिए टू कनेक्ट जम्मू टू बारामूला, उस तरह के काम में बड़ा उनका तजुर्बा है। तो द फर्स्ट थिंग वाज मेड टू द रेलवे बोर्ड एंड टू द रेलवेज टू ब्रिंग देयर एक्सपर्टीज फॉरवर्ड, एंड फ्रॉम देयर इट स्टार्टेड एंड डिफरेंट एजेंसीज हैव जॉइंड इन फ्रॉम टाइम टू टाइम। इंडियन एयरफोर्स का काम, एनडीआरएफ का जिसकी 2 टीम वहां पर लगातार काम कर रही हैं, ऑल काइंड्स ऑफ जॉब्स दैट द एनडीआरएफ हैज बीन इन्वॉल्वड विद। बॉर्डर रोड्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, जिन्होंने सड़कें अलग अलग किस्म जगह बनाई हैं जहां पर सामान लाने के लिए, बड़ी मशीनों को लाने के लिए ब्रॉडन किए हैं, सड़कों को ब्रॉडन किया है। डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ टेलीकम्युनिकेशन, जिन्होंने आकर वहां पर पूरी कनेक्टिविटी, अभी तो आराम से हम बात कर रहे हैं वहां से मीडिया बात कर रहे हैं, पूरा कनेक्टिविटी वहां से इंप्रूव की है। और राज्य सरकार को नहीं भूल सकते इसमें। राज्य सरकार, देयर इन्वॉल्वमेंट, एसडीएमए, एसडीआरएफ, उत्तराखंड की एसडीआरएफ जो है बड़ी मानी हुई एसडीआरएफ है, इट्स बीन इन्वॉल्व्ड इन मेनी सच डिजास्टर सिचुएशंस इन द पास्ट। और आखिर में मैं समझता हूं लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, बिना डिप्टी कमिश्नर साहब और एसएसपी के कोई चीज नहीं हो सकती कहीं। आई थिंक दे हैव डन अ मार्वलस जॉब एब्सोल्युटली। मगर ये सब तब मुमकिन होता है व्हेन द डायरेक्शंस फ्रॉम द टॉप आर एब्सोल्युटली क्लियर कट। अगर डायरेक्शंस हैं ऊपर से, अब ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर से, आप मानिए प्रधानमंत्री से देखिए, वहां से पीएमओ प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी खुद कल गए वहां पर, मुआयना किया पूरा, टुक स्टॉक ऑफ द सिचुएशन, गेव डायरेक्शंस, एडिशनल रिसोर्सेज की जरूरत थी उस पर डायरेक्शंस दिए, बात की अंदर, सबका मोराल और मोटिवेशन बढ़ाया वहां पर। ऑल दिस हैज हेल्प्ड इन मेकिंग श्योर दैट जितनी रिसोर्सेज, जो बिखरी हुई रिसोर्सेज हैं, उन सबको एक साथ एकजुट करना और उसका इफेक्टिवनेस निकालना, उसका लाभ निकालना, दैट इज द वर्क ऑफ द लीडरशिप एंड दैट इज व्हाट एग्जैक्टली हैज बीन डन हियर, along with of course the Ministry of Roads, Transport and Highways। जनरल वीके सिंह साहब वहां खुद मौजूद हैं, ज्यादातर वक्त वहीं पर मौजूद थे। और यहां तक कि जहां पर भी एक्सपर्टीज भारत में है, जहां पर भी जो कोई ऑफर कर रहा था उसको एक्सेप्ट किया, उनको एनेबल किया वहां जाने के लिए। बड़ी खुशी है जनरल हरपाल सिंह, पुराने हमारे डायरेक्टर जनरल बॉर्डर रोड्स और इंजीनियर इन चीफ, जिनको बहुत तजुर्बा है टनलिंग का, उनको भेजा गया वहां पर, वो अभी भी वहां पर मौजूद हैं। तो इस तरह से ऑल ऑफ गवर्नमेंट अप्रोच को प्रैक्टिकल तरीके से जोड़ा। मैं समझता हूं इसका बहुत दिनों से हमने शायद इतना बड़ा एग्जाम्पल नहीं देखा है। अब मैं आपको बताऊं कि कल शाम से क्या क्या चीजें हुई हैं वहां पर। ये सब जो आपको बताया है मैंने, वर्टिकल ड्रिलिंग भी चलती गई। अभी इस समय वर्टिकल ड्रिलिंग 45 मीटर्स, कल मैंने आपको 36 मीटर बताया था, अभी 45 मीटर पे है। मैं आपको इसलिए बता रहा हूं कि हमने अभी तक सब कुछ बंद नहीं किया, ये सोचकर कि हमारा हॉरिजॉन्टल प्रोब जो है वो सक्सेसफुल हो गया है और अब सब कुछ सही है और सब कुछ जो है वो खत्म होने वाला है। ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। जितने ऑप्शंस हैं, ऑप्शंस अपनाए हुए हैं अभी तक। 45 मीटर्स तक वो ड्रिलिंग पहुंच गई है। ये रिडंडेंसी के लिए है कि अगर किसी भी हालत में आखिरी क्षण तक अगर हमको कामयाबी नहीं पाई, कहीं नहीं मिली, तो उस हालत में ये 45 मीटर जो गए हैं ये बहुत हमारे लिए सक्सेसफुल जो है वो हुए हैं, वो हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रहेगा, महत्व बहुत इसका रहेगा वहां पर। बाकी जो एफर्ट्स हैं पीछे से वो भी चल रही हैं, ब्लास्टिंग की भी चल रही है। तकरीबन 12 मीटर वहां पर अचीव हो गया है। जो बाकी मशीनरी आ गई है उसको अभी स्थिर रखा हुआ है कुछ जगहों पर, मगर जैसी जरूरत पड़ेगी अगर, तो वो सब मूवमेंट वो भी शुरू हो जाएगा। मैं आपको बताता हूं चंद एक बातें कि जब इवैक्यूएशन फेज आएगा, और हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि जल्द से जल्द आएगा, प्रार्थना करते हैं, उम्मीद नहीं करते हैं, प्रार्थना करते हैं कि जल्द से जल्द ही आएगा। तो एनडीआरएफ का इसमें रोल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। 3 टीम, 4 जवान की टीम, 12 लोगों की वो बनी हुई हैं, अंदर जाएंगी ऑर्गेनाइज करने के लिए। ये पूरा वो फ्रेश है, ऑर्गेनाइज करेंगे जाकर अंदर। एसडीआरएफ एनडीआरएफ को सपोर्ट देगी। साथ में जो हमारे मेडिकल पर्सनल हैं, पैरामेडिक्स, वो जाएंगे अंदर। एक पूरा मेडिकल प्लान बनाया हुआ है जो एग्जीक्यूट होगा ग्राउंड पर। पूरा जो लेबर है उसको ब्रीफिंग उनको इसके मुताबिक दी है। स्ट्रेचर्स के ऊपर, स्ट्रेचर्स के रिसोर्सेज, वहां पर स्ट्रेचर अगर किसी हालत में फंस गया तो वो कंटिजेंसी में किस तरह से उसको निकाला जाएगा, ये सब भी देखा गया है। ये अंदेशा लगाया है कि एक एक इंडिविजुअल को, आउट ऑफ द 41, एक एक इंडिविजुअल को तकरीबन 3 से 5 मिनट लगेंगे निकालने के लिए, ईच वन इंडिविजुअल। तो आप लगा सकते हैं कि आउटर लिमिट अगर हम देखें कि 5 मिनट अगर लगाते हैं एक इंडिविजुअल पे, वो तब एग्जैक्टली कंफर्म होगा जब पहला, दूसरा या तीसरा इंडिविजुअल निकलेगा। अगर 5 मिनट का भी अंदेशा लगाते हैं तो हम 3-4 घंटे, ऑलमोस्ट 3-4 घंटे लग जाएंगे, क्योंकि गैप भी होंगे बीच में, कुछ कंटिजेंसी होगी, कुछ इक्विपमेंट शायद टूटेगा, कुछ होगा। तो इसके मुताबिक आप 3 से 4 घंटे इसका अनुमान लगा सकते हैं। पोस्ट इवैक्यूएशन जो है, जब सब के सब निकल गए हैं बाहर, तो मैं ये भी बता दूं आपको कि अभी भी वहां पर चिनूक हेलीकॉप्टर, बड़ा वाला डबल रोटर का हेलीकॉप्टर, वो चिन्यालिसौर जो एयरफील्ड है 30 किलोमीटर दूर, वहां पर हेलीपैड भी है, बिल्कुल साथ में हेलीपैड भी है, वहां खड़ा हुआ है। उसका लास्ट टाइम है 4:30 बजे। उसके बाद वो जो है रात के वक्त नहीं फ्लाई करेंगे उसको। 4:30 बजे के बाद अगर ये डिले हो गया, डिले हो रहा है इस वक्त, तो अगले दिन सुबह उनको लाया जाएगा। वहां पर होल्डिंग फैसिलिटी है, 30 बेड की फैसिलिटी है वहां पर अस्पताल में, डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल में, जो बिल्कुल तैयार है इस वक्त। और 10 बेड की फैसिलिटी वहां पर साइट पर है, जो भी तैयार है। तो इसलिए मेडिकल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और मेडिकल वेलफेयर की तरफ से कोई गुंजाइश नहीं छोड़ी है, वो सब ठीक रहेगा। रात के वक्त चिनूक हालांकि फ्लाई तो कर सकता है, मगर मौसम भी इतना ऐसा नहीं है और इतनी, मैं समझता हूं इतनी अर्जेंसी भी शायद नहीं होगी। अगर बहुत ज्यादा अर्जेंसी है तो रात के वक्त 1 या 2 कुछ एम्बुलेंस के अंदर जल्द से जल्द नीचे ऋषिकेश उनको लाया जा सकता है। साइट के ऊपर ट्रायज किया जाएगा, प्रायोरिटाइजेशन किया जाएगा, जैसे कैजुअल्टी प्रायोरिटाइजेशन किया जाता है। हालांकि ये कैजुअल्टी नहीं है, मगर उसके बाद लाकर उनको जब नीचे हॉस्पिटल में वो दाखिल होंगे एक्चुअली, तो 48 से 72 घंटे की मॉनिटरिंग होगी सबकी। क्योंकि जब ह्यूमन बॉडी इतनी देर तक आइसोलेशन में, तकरीबन आइसोलेशन में, अवे फ्रॉम नॉर्मल ह्यूमन एक्टिविटी रहती है, तो उसके ऊपर अलग अलग किस्म के असर आते हैं, बेस्ड अपॉन योर फिजियोलॉजी, बेस्ड अपॉन आपके साइको सोशल मेकअप क्या है, तो उसको मॉनिटर किया जाएगा। कभी कभी हो सकता है कि किसी के ऊपर असर ज्यादा हो, जो कुछ घंटों के बाद साबित होने लगे। जस्ट टू फोरक्लोज दैट पॉसिबिलिटी, ये मॉनिटरिंग तकरीबन 48 से 72 घंटे तक चलेगी। मैं समझता हूं कि मैंने ज्यादातर चीजें आपके लिए कवर कर ली हैं। इसके सिवाय के मैंने आपको सिर्फ ये नहीं दिया है कि फाइनल सिग्नल नहीं दिया है कि थ्रू एंड थ्रू रोशनी आ गई है, टनल बन गया है। मैंने आपको आखिर में मैं बताता हूं कि 2 मीटर अभी भी जो फाइनल पाइप्स का पुश था, करना था, वो फाइनल पुश अभी भी हो रहा था जब हम उठकर यहां पर आए। मैं समझता हूं कुछ वक्त लगेगा, अरसा लगेगा, इसके बाद भी शायद आपके पास खुद फोन कॉल आने लगे, तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि थोड़ा सा हमको सबको इंतजार करना पड़ेगा। अब मैं हैंडओवर करता हूं चौहान साहब को, कुछ बातें उनकी तरफ से टेक्निकल चीजों के बारे में वो आपको सुनाना चाहेंगे।
सर, मैं पुनः एक बार, आपने जो होल ऑफ गवर्नमेंट की अप्रोच की बात कही सर, उसके बारे में कुछ और बताना चाहूंगा सर कि भारत सरकार की सभी जो पब्लिक सेक्टर एजेंसीज हैं, वो भी बहुत बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण रोल इसमें उन्होंने अदा किया है सर।
So big statement there made by Lieutenant General Syed Atta Hasnain, member of the National Disaster Management Authority, that through and through pipe establishment, last 2 meters still left. It's almost done, but still not done. As far as vertical drilling as standby as a redundancy is concerned, 45 meters done. The images on your television screen from day 1 to day 10 currently, of course, we'll show you all day 17, all the efforts that have been on and efforts that are still on till day 17. And this goes on to show the progress that has been made, but that final breakthrough of that last 2 meters is still awaited. A Chinook helicopter of the Indian Air Force is on standby, and that helicopter will bring the trapped workers to Silkyara and other hospitals after the triage at ground zero. So they have a 10-bed hospital at site, a 30-bed holding facility at Chinyali shore. But let Nabila and I will also quickly take you through all the top developments.
The big breakthrough here in the Uttarkashi tunnel rescue site. Let's take you through all the images that's coming in right from day one. And here we see the Chinook helicopter at the moment. In fact, the final day of this rescue mission, we're seeing a Chinook helicopter that's present at the Chinyalisore airstrip to airlift about 41 trapped workers after their mission in Silkyara tunnel end. Just as the operation nears its successful end, we're seeing the rescue teams there posing in front of cameras with all smiles, flashing that victory sign. And then you see here ambulances, stretchers, a makeshift hospital almost that's been assembled there with oxygen cylinders to ensure right after the rescue teams are out, they're going through their mandatory assessment, the trauma assessment as it's called. And then meanwhile, we see preparations complete at a community health center as well.
So,
images
the
there.
latest images that you see on your television screen, all the rescue efforts that are currently underway, the evacuation phase, and for the benefit of our viewers, the tunneling phase currently on, last 2 meters left. Then you come to the evacuation phase, and that evacuation phase is extremely critical. That is where 3 teams of 4 Jawans each of the NDRF assisted by the SDRF will go in. Paramedics will go in, stretchers will go in. They will then bring each of those 41 workers out. That's the effort that will be undertaken. Post-evacuation, while you have ambulances on standby, you also have a Chinook helicopter. It's a heavy lift helicopter of the Indian Air Force. It will bring these workers to the hospital for medical examination. I once again want to cut across to India Today's Mosmi Singh for more on this. So Mosmi, last 2 meters it seems is still left according to Lieutenant General Syed Atta Hasnain of the NDMA. What more are you picking up?
Well, clearly, Gaurav, that really means the wait is going to be a bit longer. And, you know, in the hills, the sun sets sooner than it does in the plains. And that really means that one will have to wait and see whether they can be actually ferried out of Uttarakhand from Chinyalisore, because the sun has already set, and you know, before darkness falls, the workers need to be taken to Chinyalisore, which is about 1 hour from here. So clearly we'll have to wait and see. 2 meters left, that means that it could take a couple of hours. We were also told that the welding of the pipe is happening. I heard what the official had to say. That really means that it's at the fag end of the entire operation, but more time to be taken, and that actually you know, changes the entire operational part of the post-rescue schedule as far as, you know, taking the workers, giving them medical treatment is concerned, making sure that they are safe and sound, and the counseling and the post-rescue operations, the trauma treatment and counseling starts. So we'll have to wait and see how that really unfolds. But right now I can tell you that it's everything, everybody is waiting and watching. It's a standby mode, and after that press conference it's clear that it's going to take a couple of hours more. He also said that, you know, that actually amplifies the entire crux of the problem, that how difficult this operation was. When you knew that the end was near, it was never near, and then you had several ups and downs in this operation.
Absolutely.
And even now, you know, the press conference is actually a testimony of how there has been a lot of clarity as far as the approach is concerned. There's been a consolidation of forces, and also, you know, the underlining fact is that the agencies know what they are doing. So perhaps it's going to be sooner than later, and we will see the smiling faces of the laborers,
and that's
of
without
course
a
their
doubt,
families, for them
Mashmi.
also. That wait is longer.
Without a doubt, family members are going to be, they are anxious.
Yes,
but what we know as we hear the press conference just now, General Atta Hasnain has said very clearly that once the evacuation process begins, depending on how quickly those workers are able to come out, it's going to take another 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours. And let me remind our viewers here, there's still 2 more meters that's left for the digging of the debris to be carried out. 2 more meters of that hurdle to be clear before they actually reach with reach those tunnel workers who are trapped for 17 days. Now, ever since the news of this tunnel breakthrough broke out, relatives of the trapped workers are celebrating this feat. They're all out, assembled there in numbers, waiting to catch a glimpse, the first glimpse of their loved ones. It's been a long gap. 17 days is not easy for anyone to have their loved ones away. And here we're looking at a situation which is between life and death. Let's have a listen.
खीमपुर खीरी के मंजीत टनल के अंदर थे और बाहर चौधरी उनके पिता खड़े थे। आज फैमिली मेंबर का ये कार्ड लगा हुआ है, हाथ में बैग है, चोट भी आई इस दौरान में उंगली पे, लेकिन मुस्कान अब दिखाई दे रही है चौधरी जी के चेहरे पे। वो संघर्ष जो 17 दिनों से यहाँ चल रहा था, कितना मुश्किल था आपके लिए?
हम सबको मुश्किल थी तो हमको भी मुश्किल थी। आज सब खुश तो हम खुश।
आंखों में आंसू आपके पहले से आ रहे हैं?
जी नहीं है, खुशी के आंसू।
खुशी के आंसू?
हाँ, खुशी के आंसू। कुछ
घर में फोन कर दिया?
जी फोन तो नहीं किया, हम तो चलाना ही मोबाइल नहीं जानते, किया नहीं, मगर खबर हो गई होगी वहाँ से।
ये मान के चल रहे हैं क्योंकि आपकी पत्नी आसक पे थी उस दिन, वो बहुत घबराई हुई थी, अपने बेटे के स्वास्थ्य को लेकर चिंतित थी और हम लोगों ने उन्हें कहा था कि सुरक्षित है मंजीत। आज उस बात पे भरोसा होगा जब बाहर आएंगे मंजीत?
बिल्कुल भरोसा होगा, खुशियाँ भी होगी और वो खुशियाँ होंगी जो खुशी में।
अच्छा, ये बैग मैं देख रहा हूँ आप लेके खड़े हैं, इसमें आपके कपड़े हैं, मंजीत के भी हैं?
इसमें हमारे हैं, मंजीत की ये बैग।
अच्छा, मंजीत के लिए दूसरा आपने थैला पिट्ठू बैग रखा हुआ है।
यहाँ कपड़े यहाँ थे जो छूट गए थे, काम वो तो अंदर चला गया था, वही कपड़े आज।
तो ये लेके आप एम्बुलेंस में साथ बैठे?
जी जी।
कहाँ जाएंगे?
अब जहाँ जाएंगे वो तो नाम नहीं भी पता। जी जी ठीक ठीक।
क्या बेटे से कुछ सोचा है मन में? 17 दिनों में कितने ख्याल आए होंगे, है ना?
जी जी।
क्या कहूँगा, क्या बोलूंगा, डांटूंगा, सुनूंगा, गले लगाऊंगा, क्या चल रहा है?
वो खुद हमको समझाता था घर वालों को कि आप चिंता मत कीजिए और बोल देना कि हाँ मैं यहाँ सही हूँ, साथ हूँ और घर पे कोई चिंता की प्रॉब्लम ना करे।
तो मनोबल एकदम मजबूत
आते थे, खुद ताकत भर देते थे, जैसे गुब्बारे में हवा भरी जाती है इस तरह ताकत भर देते थे।
आपके अंदर एकदम मनोबल भर देता?
अंदर वालों के टीम के हम खुद भर देते थे, इतनी हिम्मत की।
अच्छा।
वो हिम्मत के बीच में हमारी भी हिम्मत
बनी
छुपी रहे।
ठीक है। हम चाहेंगे कि बहुत समय मिले आपको मंजीत के साथ, वक्त बिताने का समय मिले। परिवार के लिए बहुत संघर्ष का वक्त रहा है। आप पहले भी एक घर में हादसा हुआ?
जी जी हाँ, वही भी बहुत लंबा हादसा था जो कि वही चोट से हमने बड़ी हिम्मत करके जो जीवित हैं कि हमने एक बेटा खो दिया, दूसरा माताजी आज पर्वत ने अपना आंचल खोल दिया बाहर, वो मेहमानी उनकी पूरी हो गई, पर्वत भी की इलाज बच गई, हमारी ही बच गई।
बाबा बौगनाथ की बहुत पूजा हो रही है, वो भी सुरक्षित भेज रहे हैं बेटे को बाहर?
जी जी, तब नाम है हो गया।
गले लगेंगे बेटे से?
बिल्कुल, टाइम मौका मिलते ही गले लग जाएंगे।
कि कौन अंदर फंसे हुए थे?
भैया।
भैया कहाँ के रहने वाले हैं आप लोग? यूपी से?
जी सर।
यूपी में कहाँ से?
सरावस्ती डिस्ट्रिक्ट।
अभी आपको अंदर बुलाया जा रहा है, क्या आप एम्बुलेंस के साथ ही ट्रैवल करेंगे?
जी सर, बिल्कुल सर, हम लोग फैमिली मेंबर है ना सर।
हाँ
जी सर।
तो सीधे हॉस्पिटल जाएंगे साथ में आप लोग?
बिल्कुल, उनका ट्रीटमेंट करेंगे पहले तो, अगर उनका हेल्थ सही रहेगा तो फिर भी मतलब कि एम्बुलेंस में उनको बिठाया जाएगा और हॉस्पिटल में लेके जाएगा, उनका ट्रीटमेंट करेंगे, चेकअप करेंगे उनका। तो अगर उनका हेल्थ सही रहेगा, स्वास्थ्य सही रहेगा तो फिर भी मतलब कि उनको लेके जाएगा, और अगर हेल्थ नहीं सही रहेगा तो फिर भी लेके जाएगा उनको।
गबर सिंह 41 मजदूरों में से एक जिसने हिम्मत बांधी रखी है अंदर, और बाकी लोग जो टूट रहे थे, मनोबल टूट रहा था, मनोस्थिति टूट रही थी, तो योगा कराया, उनको गेम्स में बिजी रखा। उस गबर सिंह के भाई जयमल सिंह नेगी इस वक्त आज तक से एक्सक्लूसिव बातचीत कर रहे हैं। पहली प्रतिक्रिया, गबर 41 मजदूर सब बाहर आने वाले हैं?
बिल्कुल बाहर आने वाले हैं और बस अब इंतजार की घड़ियां जो है अब अंत की तरफ बढ़ रही है। प्रकृति भी बहुत प्रसन्न है और तमाम पे
लग रहा है वो पहली झलक देखना, ये इंतजार जो है मुश्किल लग रहा है अपने?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बहुत मुश्किल लग रहा है, बस व्यग्र है हमारा मन, बहुत व्यग्र है।
17 दिन तक आप यहीं बने रहे, मैं आपसे पिछले 10 दिन से रोज बात करता था, आप परेशान दिखते थे, कभी आपका मोराल बढ़ता था, कभी डाउन होता था। अभी मन में क्या महसूस हो रहा है?
नहीं, अब तो वो सब भूल करके अब तो खुशी का वक्त है। वो सबको सोचना अभी इस समय बहुत उचित प्रतीत नहीं होता है कि उन पलों को याद किया जाए।
घर वालों को बताया, खबर दे दी?
अब खबर दे दी है मैंने।
क्या कह?
मैंने उनको कह दिया कि बहुत जल्दी हम मिलने वाले, फिर वीडियो कॉलिंग से आपसे बात कराते हैं। तो वो लोग
भावुक हैं वो?
बिल्कुल भावुक, निश्चित रूप से। अब मिलन के लिए भावुक हैं, पहले बिगड़े के लिए भावुक थे।
हम क्यों रोए? तुम अच्छे हो, भले हो, बात कर रहे हो, बस रास्ता ही नहीं ना है। रास्ता हो जाएगा, बाहर आओगे। हमें भगवान पर पूरा भरोसा है।
Right, we see that the family members are finally breathing a sigh of relief, but of course the anxious moments still continue as we're looking at the fag end of this mission. Rescue tunnel operations still continue as we see that 2 more meters of debris that still needs to be cleared before they actually meet with those trapped workers physically. So that's going to take a few more hours as India Today keeps our coverage rolling. We're going to bring you every aspect of what's happening on ground in Uttarkashi. Our team of reporters who are pressed in bringing you every minute detail and the most accurate ones. Stay tuned. India Today continues its coverage on the other side of a short break.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest. Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company. You are watching India Today, powered by Finest. Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
The best view of an Indian election is always from the ground, and I am back on the campaign trail, gauging the mood of the voter this election season. Join me, Preeti Chaudhary, as I come together with the #1 election team in the country, where we'll bring to you the most in-depth ground reports, the sharpest analysis, and the most accurate numbers on exit poll day, 30th November.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. You are watching India Today, powered by Finest. Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
मोदी जी के हैं 2 यार, ओवैसी और केसीआर।
మోదీ గారి 2 ప్రియతమ నేస్తాలు, ఒకటి కేసీఆర్, ఒకటి ఓవైసీ.
मोदी जी के 2 यार, ओवैसी और केसीआर।
మోదీ जी के 2 यार, ఇద్దరు స్నేహితులు, ఒకరు కేసీఆర్, మరొకరు ఓవైసీ.
केसीआर चाहते हैं कि नरेंद्र मोदी दिल्ली में प्रधानमंत्री रहे।
కేసీఆర్ గారు ఆశించేది ఏమిటంటే నరేంద్ర మోదీ గారు ఎప్పుడు ఢిల్లీలో ప్రధానమంత్రిగా ఉండాలని.
और नरेंद्र मोदी चाहते हैं कि केसीआर तेलंगाना का चीफ मिनिस्टर।
అదే విధంగా నరేంద్ర మోదీ గారి ఆశ ఏంటంటే రాష్ట్రంలో కేసీఆర్ గారు ఎప్పుడు ముఖ్యమంత్రిగా ఉండాలని.
राहुल के 2 प्यार, एक इटली एक मोदी। राहुल के 2 प्यार, एक इटली एक मोदी। इटली क्यों? उनकी अम्मा वहां से आई। मोदी क्यों? क्योंकि मोदी उनकी ताकत है। मोदी के लिए राहुल ताकत है, तो राहुल के दो प्यार, एक इटली और एक मोदी।
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest. Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
All right, here the visuals that we're bringing to you right from day 1 to day 17. Works have gone on in a way that the team workers, trapped workers who are trapped inside, they're not affected with the soil falling. In fact, it was a very, very planned, meticulous way that they move forward with this rescue mission to ensure that drilling work is done very carefully in that terrain. So day 1 to day 17, the different kind of approaches that the rescue teams have used, it's indeed commendable to know that this multi-pronged approach has finally worked. The horizontal approach is what they're going with right now, with almost 56 meters of that debris that's been cleared so far, another 2 meters that remain. It's the last leg of this rescue mission, and in less than 4 hours, we're hoping to see those workers out to freedom. That's the big update coming in as per the press conference given by the chief of the rescue mission. 3 to 4 hours to pull out each worker. By the time this mission completes, it will be about 3 to 4 hours. To pull out each worker, it would take about 5 to 10 minutes. There are 41 workers, and there is 2 meters more of debris to be cleared. So to that effect, we calculate that about 3 to 4 hours before which we could hopefully see those workers out. Now, IAF Chinook helicopter is also on standby. We know that the rescue teams are all ensuring that the moment these workers are out, they're going to be taken to a safer zone where there are hospitals, and they are going to be going through a trauma assessment to ensure that the health condition of these workers are stable. Now, listen in to General Atta Hasnain, who's overseeing this rescue operation, as he confirms how long this would take for this mission to complete.
ये अंदेशा लगाया है कि एक एक इंडिविजुअल को आउट ऑफ द 41 एक एक इंडिविजुअल को तकरीबन 3 से 5 मिनट लगेंगे निकालने के लिए, ईच वन इंडिविजुअल। तो आप लगा सकते हैं कि आउटर लिमिट अगर हम देखें कि 5 मिनट अगर लगाते हैं एक इंडिविजुअल पे, वो तब एग्जैक्टली कंफर्म होगा जब पहला, दूसरा या तीसरा इंडिविजुअल निकलेगा। अगर 5 मिनट का भी अंदेशा लगाते हैं तो हम 3-4 घंटे, ऑलमोस्ट 3-4 घंटे लग जाएंगे, क्योंकि गैप भी होंगे बीच में, कुछ कंटिजेंसी होगी, कुछ इक्विपमेंट शायद टूटेगा, कुछ होगा। तो इसके मुताबिक आप 3 से 4 घंटे इसका अनुमान लगा सकते हैं। जब सब के सब निकल गए हैं बाहर, तो मैं ये भी बता दूं आपको कि अभी भी वहां पर चिनूक हेलीकॉप्टर, बड़ा वाला डबल रोटर का हेलीकॉप्टर, वो चिन्यालिस और जो एयरफील्ड है 30 किलोमीटर दूर, वहां पर हेलीपैड भी है, बिल्कुल साथ में हेलीपैड भी है, वहां खड़ा हुआ है। उसका लास्ट टाइम है 4:30 बजे। उसके बाद वो जो है रात के वक्त नहीं फ्लाई करेंगे उसको। 4:30 बजे के बाद अगर ये डिले हो गया, डिले हो रहा है इस वक्त, तो अगले दिन सुबह उनको लाया जाएगा। वहां पर होल्डिंग फैसिलिटी है, 30 बेड की फैसिलिटी है वहां पर अस्पताल में, डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल में, जो बिल्कुल तैयार है इस वक्त, और 10 बेड की फैसिलिटी वहां पर साइट पर है, जो भी तैयार हैं। तो इसलिए मेडिकल infrastructure.
All right, we've heard that very clearly there. Amit Bharadwaj, who's also joining us, he's right at the spot where this rescue mission now is reaching its final end. Amit, we see at least 3 to 4 hours is what they've indicated before this rescue operation is completed. And now we know that there is 2 meters more of debris to be cleared out before the teams actually physically meet with those trapped workers. Do tell us what exactly is leading to this delay?
Well, Nabila, before I respond to that question, there is a big development as well as far as the states are concerned. Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, Odisha is planning to airlift their workers, the workers from their respective states. I'm joined by Odisha's Labour Minister, Sada Prasad Nayak. Sir, please do tell us about Odisha's plan, how you're planning to take these workers, 5 workers from your state, back to home.
The thing is that November 12th was the Diwali. So we got the information that 5 of the workers from Odisha, they are held up in the Silkyara tunnel. So immediately I am thankful to my Chief Minister. My Chief Minister sent 2 of the senior labour officers to the spot, to Dehradun. And they were there from the day one because 5 workers have been held up in the tunnel, and the rest of the workers, there is a colony, and around 40 workers from Odisha, they are staying there.
Right.
So both the labour officers were in touch with them. So my Chief Minister directed me with my senior officers of the department. Saturday only I just reached at Dehradun.
Right.
So on Sunday we met the Disaster Management General Commissioner Mr. Singh. So just he directed the planning of the rescue and why it is held up.
Right.
And yesterday...
So you were briefed, sir, and you're planning to airlift all 5
Absolutely.
All 5 workers.
No, exactly. Even if the relatives of the held up workers, they are accompanying us by plane.
Okay.
We brought them from Odisha by plane to Delhi, then from to Dehradun. They are still with us.
Right.
After the formalities is over, once in Uttarakhand, so every worker and their relatives will be airlifted to Odisha.
Okay.
And definitely it is a responsibility of the government. I am a Chief Minister by who is the workers can reach to the family members. That is our responsibility.
Mr. Naik, one more question. You must have been briefed by the officials, the rescue team as well as the Chief Minister's office. What is going to be the protocol as far as these workers are concerned? How long they'll be held up at the medical facility for medical examination, quarantine, if we may say, in terms of making them emotionally and mentally, in a better condition, because that's the biggest challenge that we are looking at. 17 days stranded inside a tunnel. So what's the timeline that you have been given?
Exactly. A few hours back, I met the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. What he was discussing with me, immediately everything is ready. The medical team, internal medical team in the tunnel itself. Chief Minister is also present in the spot, and V.K. Singh, the Minister, the center,
Yeah.
he is also here. And as far the information goes, all the workers will be lifted to one of the hospital where everything is arranged. So they will have an observation for 24 hours. Definitely
24 hours of observation.
24 hours of observation. So definitely it is the responsibility of the state government. Once the state government completed all the formalities, and on behalf of the state government Odisha, we will decide how to move to Odisha, and it is our responsibility given by my Chief Minister.
So I'm given to understand that you might be taking these workers to Dehradun and then to Odisha. Is that the plan?
No, exactly at what point they will release the patients. That is the main thing. Because it is a prerogative of the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, because...
all eyes on the decision of the state. One final question, sir. Are you also planning to give some sort of compensation to these workers as well? I know legally there's no norm, but on a sympathetic ground is something in the loop as well.
Always my Chief Minister is something different from others. So it is the Chief Minister's prerogative. Definitely, my Chief Minister's concern is every life is valuable for him. So definitely my Chief Minister, at least I should not say something what the future will course of action will there, but I think
something will happen. Final question, sir. Have you been briefed the reason for the delay? Because we are also being given to understand by sources that some sort of demucking is being done right now to so that there's no problem while the physical extraction begins.
Actually, yesterday when I just, because I am a technical background person, so I just visited and so I discussed with
Minister from the Odisha government there speaking. Of course, there are many of the workers who come from multiple states there. Well, they're all waiting to receive them, and the clock is only ticking for that. But so far, it's been hours now since the rescue mission has received or achieved a breakthrough in its progress. Let me cut across to all the top developments coming in right from the start of the day as this operation now comes to a near end. We see a Chinook helicopter that's present at the Chinya-Lissaur airstrip to airlift at least 41 trapped workers after their rescue from Silkyara tunnel. That's the image that you see there of the Chinook helicopter. Just as the operation nears close now, On the other end, now we see images coming in of rescue team members who are posing before the cameras with all smiles, flashing a victory sign as ambulances, stretchers and oxygen cylinders have all been sent inside the tunnel along with the rescue teams. We see now preparations are fully complete at the Community Health Centre in Chinyalisaur for treatment of the 41 workers who will be brought here right after they are rescued and brought out of that Silkyara tunnel. It's almost a makeshift like hospital that's been set up to ensure their trauma assessment is carried out with ease at this medical facility. Moments before this medical rescue, family members of those stranded workers were called in at the tunnel area as operations intensified. They were asked to bring clothes of those trapped workers along with them, and now we see that they are en route to that site with their bags waiting to meet their dear ones after 7 days, harrowing days. And in a solemn display of hope and unity, international tunneling expert Arnold Dix joined hands with a priest in prayers for the safe evacuation of the 41 construction workers trapped inside that Silkyara tunnel, now 17 days. Well, India Today is bringing you all those updates right from our ground, our band of reporters, the largest team who are bringing you all those accurate updates as rescue operations come to a near close. We're really hoping to see those workers out by tonight latest. Shiv Arur on the other side. Stay with us.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest. Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company. You are watching India Today, powered by Finest. Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
अब सबको बदलना चाहिए, दुनिया बदल रही है। आज हमारी माताएं बहनें आज हर